Mr. Nucci? Ms. Donald? Present. Mr. Panica?
Here.
Mr. Warshaw?
Present.
Ms. Owens?
Here.
Ms. Aguilar?
Present.
Ms. Kennedy?
Present.
Dr. Adams?
Present.
Middleman?
Present.
Ms. Anderson?
Present. Are there any changes to the meeting? Any changes to the meeting? No. Okay, I need a motion and a second to accept the minutes of November 13, 2018 meeting and the November 15, 2018 meeting. Second.
Before you commence that, just so you know, Mary Jane,
Yeah.
I know we can go back on the minutes for the meeting before,
Yeah.
but usually in the past, the old district clerk used to put the link on this agenda for the
Oh,
minutes.
and that's why you.
Yeah, so that you could just click it and the link, you know how we have all the other clickable
Yes.
links?
Okay.
And I just noticed the last couple times it wasn't on there, I didn't know if you knew that that's what we used to.
Oh, okay.
It's just
Yeah.
easier for
I
me
just
to
did a
listen to
hard
minutes.
copy. Okay.
Yeah, just so you know.
Thank you.
If you want to, I don't really care.
Yeah.
I go back and
Okay.
forth.
All right, thank you.
Okay, don't see any student government representatives. Anybody here? Okay, we're moving on to policy. We have first reading of policy 1500. Either Eileen or Lee, can you speak about the changes to the policy? Eileen?
I don't have it in front of me now. Basically, Lee and I and Dr. Adams worked on making the policy as clear and concise as possible. Probably taking a lot of the regulation and putting it into the policy part so that there will be no more misinterpretations. And I'm sure there's still going to be an exception or two that we missed. We'll fix it as it comes along, but it's supposed to be just make it more clear and concise so that if you're not following the three criteria, then you'll have to pay, there'll be a fee schedule, and it's all written out very clear. Everybody has to submit these certain things in this format, you have to do this, it's all step by step, I mean, it's super clear. We also, and this was Lee's suggestion, it used to be 60% district residency, we also lowered that to 50% to make it a little bit easier. I think that's about it,
Yeah, that's good.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, on the policy itself, if you go to conditions, use of for district facilities, if you go down to 11, I'm not sure if that's just a technical issue, the way I'm seeing it.
I don't have my computer talking. Mary Jane, do you ever print it out?
It's
I
number
can
11,
go
in
through
case
one now.
of an emergency with notwithstanding pending application for an actual use of district facility. All district facilities will be immediately available to. I don't know why it's shown like this on my.
Okay. It says to the district or the American Red Cross.
Oh, okay.
If
Yeah,
I'm
that
missing
looks like it's a formatting error.
Okay.
something. It looks good on Sharon's laptop. It might just be on that.
We'll look. We'll check it and make sure it's just a formatting error.
Okay, so we just need a motion and a second to adopt the first reading.
Second.
Motion?
Second.
Motion was,
I said, wait a second.
oh, okay.
Still missing.
We did this a while ago, so now I'm starting to think, is there anything that we put in here have to do with, them coming, more money coming to the board? For the,
I can't hear you. Can you put your thing on?
yeah,
No, that's a different policy.
okay, everybody.
All right, need a motion and a second to, motion and second for the first reading of policy 1500, public use of facility.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're moving on to business discussion, excess cell phone enhancement proposal. Is that your first turn?
I can give you a quick overview.
Okay.
About a month ago, we had a company called Nexi that reached out to the district asking whether or not we would allow them to put a small repeater on a Verizon pole within the front parking lot of central office, between transportation and central office. They have offered to present a contract for the board's review. They will put a sub-meter on there because they will need to power it off from the school districts, and they were willing to pay all expenses related to it. But because of the nature of it, I think it's something that the board really should discuss and comment as to whether or not they feel it's beneficial to the district and or the neighboring community.
Can I give my comments?
So I asked, I had a couple questions about that, and I asked, how the electricity was going to be computed, and John explained that just now, that they're gonna put a sub-meter on there. I wanna know what the benefit is and what the liability is, any pros and cons, and my biggest concern is that thing falls down and hits somebody in the head and we don't have any liability. So John, if you could just comment and public on that, that'd be great.
I think the first thing, the easiest thing to do is to let the company know the board is considering it. And once they consider it, have them make recommendations to a contract to be forward for review so that the board fully understands exactly what this is.
Okay.
Are we voting on it?
It's just a discussion item. There aren't
Need a consensus so they
Yeah,
can
just
move
consensus.
forward.
In the contract.
Consensus to move forward, not to go.
Right, consensus to move forward.
Gotcha.
Is there a consensus on the table?
I'll say yes.
Yes.
More?
Are you have a?
Yes?
Yes.
Me, yes.
And also, under
I can't
discussion,
hear you, Lee, put your microphone on.
under discussion, we should have had those trips, board trips. It's always been under discussion before we ever put them on the consent agenda. So I'm requesting that we table it so you can put it on discussion for the next meeting.
The next meeting will be too late, it's the lower price.
Well, then we should put it on discussion for now.
Discuss it and then we can vote on it, we can move it over to the consent agenda, is that what you're saying?
Yes,
I'm
it
okay with that.
is a discussion item.
Sure, I'm okay with that.
Okay. You want to talk about it, then I'll give you want to say what it is?
So the national,
Oh, wait, I was on, sorry.
thank you. The National School Boards Association holds a national conference. While we were at the New York State School Boards Association, two trustees and myself were in attendance, and we just had a discussion about the idea of going to the national convention. This is a national convention. It's in Philadelphia. It's March 30th and April 1st. There's a couple issues actually are that we are not, as a school district, a member of the National School Board Association right now. But I don't think we've ever, not within my tenure, we've never sent anyone to that conference. So it was not a budgeted for expense, and we are not actually members. But irregardless of that, you do not need to be a member in order to attend the conference and do some significant learning. So I did propose the cost potentially would be about $1,800 per person for the actual conference. If that's provided that the person drove. If they wanted to fly to Philadelphia, it would be almost $2,000 from the start.
Okay. My questions are, when you guys went to the conference in the city, when I used to go to those conferences, I had to come back and we were required, things to change, to write a report or talk about what we did and what workshops we went to during that conference. So we really, other than you talking about one workshop that you went to, we didn't really hear about all the workshops you went to. We didn't get anything, you didn't bring anything back.
Well, the meetings were very contentiously, so there wasn't really much to talk about at that time. So we didn't talk about a lot of things. We did talk about it though.
But you didn't,
There was nobody saying that I had to take a notepad and write down every little thing
Oh, no,
that I
no,
did there
you
and bring back a report. I didn't know that. So as a new board member, I
well,
didn't
no,
know that.
I was informed I had to do it, I would go on these.
No one informed me of that.
No, that's why I said, I don't know if it's still.
There's no policy, there's no anything that I had to write. I didn't know I had to write something down, take a steno pad with me.
Back in school.
Well,
Back in class.
I used to have to write a report of what I saw
It's good for you.
or bring stuff in and I would share it with the community of what I learned and blah, 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 blah. So maybe we would have that, we seem to be getting along. What conferences did you go to, workshops did you go to that you want to talk about?
You want me to remember now?
I'm fine going on. Lee, if you don't want us to you don't
I
want
don't
Listen,
know.
I like to go, first of all, I learned a lot of new things, that'd be
anything
great.
you wanna do.
$4,000, then there's another conference coming up. There's two
Yes.
on here,
Mhm.
which is another $800.
One is a NISBA conference, the law conference, right.
So,
So did you look at the agendas? There's a lot of things on there. I think we should all go.
Yeah,
And learn
actually,
and grow and bring it back to the community.
when I called Mary Jane, I actually said to Mary Jane, I actually thought it'd be a good idea for the four of us to. But if you don't think it's a good idea, that's okay.
that's a lot of money. You're
Whatever
worried
you
about
want, I'm
spending
looking,
a lot of money.
I'm fine with whatever you want.
You know, listen, on our budget line, we have subscriptions for the Board of Ed, which is $21,000. What are those subscriptions?
I don't have the detail sheets in front of me, and I don't have the I could get the file.
One is for NISBA.
Right.
That's like
Which is
12,000,
like
that's like
It
12,000.
said 8,000 was encumbered.
Okay, yeah, I think that's about a $12,000 membership. As far as the other one, I'm not really sure which.
Yeah, what is the other one that we are members of?
um,
I mean, I know a lot of board members in the past never went on these conferences, but I like to learn, I like to know new things. I mean, bringing back the ideas right now may be too expensive for us, but at least you're learning something and maybe down the road we can use it. I think we should always learn and grow.
Well, one of the meetings, I think that were held that weekend, I think the both of you could have benefited from was, bond. There was a bond discussion over that,
You should have
weekend.
came with us.
Champagne.
I agree.
But that was our first time at a conference, we had no idea what we were doing.
If you
No,
want to
I'm
give them
saying-
more insulin, then I'll be glad to
I didn't ask that.
attend.
I'm
I
saying
didn't
that
ask
this
It
was
would've
my
been nice
first
if you
time
went.
going to a
No, it would've been
conference. I
nice,
didn't
but
know
I'm
the lay of the
not-
land, I had no idea, you guys weren't there with us, we had no idea what we were doing.
I just said it would've been nice.
I was a presider, I had no idea what I was doing there either.
But I'm sorry I didn't go to that. Next time I will.
I mean, there's a lot of different ones that you go to, you can't get to all of them.
I
And we spent a lot of time in the expo talking
I
to them.
filled every day.
I can tell you that I spent a lot of time in the expo talking to a lot of the contractors that do energy performance contracts. I spoke to about 8 of them.
I went to the workshops when I was out. Last one I went to was up in Albany
I talked to
a couple
people.
years ago. And then I went to the one in Manhattan, and there's a lot of workshops. I spent
Right, they're great.
in them.
So are they good or not good? What do you?
They're great, the workshops.
So if you want us to write a report on what we're doing over there, that's, if I decide to go.
I just think
I'm not
it's a
sure.
lot of money this year.
But I'll write a report if I
I
decide.
think that it's a lot of money, that you're being very conservative in a lot of things. And so if you want to be conservative, we're talking about $6,000.
When am I being conservative? I didn't know what you think about that. You talking about me, just so I understand this?
No, I'm not talking about you personally, but this was apparently a very conservative board, so I don't know. You just pull money from somewhere else, you guys to go. It's like, almost like going to a
So you're saying that you've been going to these conferences for 20 years, but you don't want 2 new board members to learn and grow? Is that what you're telling me?
I don't think
Very
they,
few went to the
I'm
nationals.
just curious.
Yeah, you could learn and grow, and you usually come back and you share it with them. That's
Okay,
why some
I have no
people
problem with
go.
that.
Well,
You didn't tell me that on the first conference, I had no idea, no way of knowing. If that's what you want us to do, I'll certainly do that.
That's the purpose of it.
Okay, well, again, as a new board member, no one told me that, so I wouldn't have known.
That's how some of our programs actually have actually started, by someone going to a conference.
I think that's good.
okay, moving on to,
Are
public
we gonna
comment.
put that back on the consent agenda then? To vote on?
You can have separate vote if you want.
Okay, we'll put it on for a separate vote.
Okay, perfect.
When we get to the consent agenda, we'll
Yes.
pull that.
Yes. Okay, moving on to, public comment. Step up to the podium, address the board president only. You may address one or more topics that, in the time allotted. Individual employees, parents, or children should not be identified by name, title, position, grade, or building. I ask that anybody that comes to the podium to have respect for not only the people that are sitting on this board, for the audience members as well. I will not condone cross-talking between someone at the podium or an audience member. So I'm putting it out there right now. So anybody else?
For agenda items only.
They can speak whatever they like. I'm just making clear that some things. So anybody like to have something to say?
Ladies and gentlemen of the board, and even if I just speak loudly, that's
Just
from,
talk really loud.
Exactly.
I'm Kevin Shapiro. I have 4 kids in the district here. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. I would like to address a situation I found out about yesterday which is in relation to the Connecticut Youth Wrestling Club, which we practice out of OBMS on Mondays and Wednesdays. Specifically, it has to do with really the most integral guy in the club. Am I allowed to say that name?
No.
Oh, you can't say.
Okay. He's basically the head coach of the club. He's been involved for many, many years. And basically, you know, I come here to say a few things. You know, the first thing is that through the years that I've known him, I have a couple kids in the district, some of them on different sports like wrestling. He's really gone out of his way to help out, you know, my kids and all the other kids in the community. You know, we've gone to tournaments and things like that where, just for the benefit of my kid or two kids, he's gone to all walks of Long Island as a volunteer to help coach and make them better athletes and kids. I'm also on the board of the Connecticut Youth Wrestling Program, and when we got the club off the ground again this year, it was my understanding, as per the board meeting from last year, that this individual who had been, I'll call it, put on timeout from the facilities, it was my understanding that this was to end at the end of last school year, and therefore his privileges to be on premise were reinstated. As such, you know, when we pushed the club starting up again and, you know, went through the flyers and emails and everything like that, it was on the idea that he was going to be the head of the club again. Now, come to find, yesterday I wasn't there. I was at John Pearl's fabulous winter concert, which is great. I found out that this individual was approached by security and handed a letter that stated that he was not allowed on premise at all, I believe going for the next 5 years. Now, if it stands the way it is, I feel in a certain regard like I've sold my friends and family a false bill of goods, saying that he's going to be the coach. He's involved nearly unanimously. This was the first question the parents had: is he back? Is he involved? Absolutely. And we had a few practices. You know, I was kind of shocked when I found this out, only because, again, I was under the impression that he had been reinstated. And just so you know the history, you know, he's volunteered literally an uncountable amount of hours to the club and to the community. And this has remained true even after his own kids have graduated. You know, he's the heart and soul of the wrestling club. He mentors the children. He coaches the coaches. And he supports all of us. And I just humbly request that you consider the families involved in the club, my own good name. Really, it should really be my last name. And really, you know, the coach's legacy, you know, to the legions of kids that he's positively impacted through the years, where he's always shown great passion, instilled great confidence in them, and really, if nothing else, has shown them the value of hard work and heart. And I just humbly ask that you review this and perhaps allow him to be reinstated, you know, for the sake of the kids. Thank you.
Thank you.
I apologize for the students not being here in the beginning, but you're all over the place, just keeping honor society induction.
Because you know to turn that on, because it's not on.
This doesn't count as the comment, right? Who's going to do a report for the kids?
Just speak a little loud, people.
Sometimes
It's on it. Just give it was ready.
no one's winning the lotto with that microphone.
No? Okay, that's fine. I'll just talk about it. Okay, what I have here on behalf of the student government is this year's contract that we had made up to possibly have a fireworks show again in the spring. It is looking to be around the first week of May. Could possibly be the week after, depending on what we want to do with the event itself. Last year we did a fireworks show at halftime, at the end of the game of one of the boys' varsity lacrosse games, and during the middle of the game we announced all the players like we would have in a Pep Rally setting. The first plan we had in place was to do the same thing that we had last year. The second plan that we have is that the freshmen had come to us at one of the student government meetings, one of their advisors, and asked if they would be, we would be willing to partner with the freshman class officers in doing a fundraiser to benefit their class, where they would run a senior field day type thing, and that would be at nighttime, and then to end the night would be a fireworks show. So we're still going back and forth. The freshman have to come up with a plan, they're going to show it to us, and then we'll make the determination then. So not an exact date of which week, or not an exact time which week it's going to be. It's a very similar contract to last year, but we figured we'd get it put in as early as possible, because I'm sure there's plenty of things to look over and discuss regarding it. No changes have been made, none of the advisors or anyone has signed anything, but we, of course, we approved to get that done. So I just have a contract here, so I would just like to present it to you, and you guys make a determination that we're.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just want to bring something to your attention that possibly to look into. Recently, over the past few weeks, one of my boys I got a phone call from attendance. One of the boys not in class. Okay, come to find out he was late. Teacher never changed it in the system to show that he was there. Just the other day, actually 2 days ago, another phone call, your son was not in the fifth period. Yes, he was. The other ones. This happened to be late. The teacher never went back into the system to change it. Both times I get a phone call, the automated phone call. Also, I get an automated phone call yesterday about a lunch balance. So we have automated phone calls for all these things. Okay. Back a few weeks ago, beginning of December, I get in the mail a disciplinary action for one of my boys. He cut. He thought, whatever he thought. He legitimately cut. At that time, I did not get a phone call. I received the disciplinary action over a week later. I addressed it with one of the principals, with the 12th grade principal actually. And he said typically, because they're 12th graders, they don't make a phone call. However, looking at attendance calls when they miss a class, this is a disciplinary action that I was made aware of over a week later. I would have appreciated a phone call that day, so I could have addressed it that day. You know, we get phone calls for they're late to class and the teacher doesn't change it back, which something needs to be double checked with that, because the teacher should be going back to correct that, so we don't get phone calls. And now we get phone calls for lunch balances, but we don't get phone calls for disciplinary actions, which I would take that more seriously than he was late to class.
Thank you. Thank you. That's the future section. Anybody else? Going once, going twice. Okay, moving on to resignations. Termination of leaves of absence. I need a motion and a second.
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to Schedule 2, appointments, tenure, salary, and changes. Motion and a second.
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Can I pause for a second? We'd like to introduce someone. Mr. Miller, would you like to introduce our new director?
So it gives me great pleasure to welcome Dr. Carol Polney to Connect One. She is our new Director of Instructional Technology, Innovation, and it's a very long title, so I'm just Carol at that. So if you wouldn't mind standing, please recognize her. Thank you.
The board meeting was the wrong date.
Thank you. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't think there's anything in sketch, piece, no, okay. Moving on to financial matters, I need a motion and a second, and we can just discuss items 2 through 6.
Motion.
Second, does anybody have any questions on items 2 through 6?
The only question I have is, Sharon, I'd like to know what's in the board license right now. Well, actually, I do have another question. The BAC, there was no responses. I did send it, it must have bounced back, I don't know what happened, I sent it from the Civic, but maybe only once, obviously there's no BAC this year. I was told other groups did also send in like, council. So I don't know what happened.
You know, it seems we have this every year where there's a problem with communication that I don't know why. So this year, instead of relying on council to distribute the absent PTAs, I myself, because we were actually between district clerks, sent out the invitation not only to council, but also to the individual PTAs as well as to the senators. But
Well, I know mine sent from Jane and Mary email, like I said,
right,
so
you
that
did
could have been.
acknowledge that, but I don't know why.
I don't know.
I don't know why I would not receive that, or this vendor would not get a bounce back
Right.
to know that it's a concern.
So, my question is, how does that work now without a BAC? Or do we just get to ask questions and, when do we ask my million questions and
Really, at any time that
they
we're
want me
having
to start sending you an email a day?
our budget discussions.
What is it?
Well, we'll have the adoption of budget guidelines at the January meeting. And
So
that
you want to wait
kicks
till
off.
January for my questions?
You can
I have a
take
lot,
questions
Sarah.
anytime, anytime.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion and second on the table, all in favor? Aye. Okay, moving on to consent agenda, we have items 2 through 24. I need a motion and a second, and then we can have our discussion.
Motion. Second.
Any questions?
Lots. I can't hear you, Lee.
We're pulling 20 and 21 for a separate vote.
What is 20 and 21? Okay, the conferences?
Yeah.
There's a couple more we want to call, right?
What is it you want to call?
Number 23 and number 24, the bond and the fifth board member.
For discussion?
Okay, so it's 2021, what else?
23 and 24.
23 and 24, so there's
Yeah,
four
hold on, let
things.
me just make sure I don't have anything else on the list. I got a big list.
I actually have a question, Linda.
Yes, ma'am.
On item number 13, is this something we've normally done in the past?
Going to ask Dean to answer that.
So we had a student who received an honor to go to an all-national ensemble. We do support our students to go to Wall State. This is something that we decided to support for the student.
Okay, so my question is, do we normally pay in the past?
I don't think we've had anybody attend something like this in the past, but we considered it similar to an all-state competition.
So when we do all states, are we paid for those?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure that we don't picking and choosing that we're across the board. Okay.
I also want to pull number 22. So we have 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. That are being pulled. And I have a bunch of questions, if everybody else is not asking, I'll ask questions.
So do I have discussions on the remaining items, or do I take the vote to remove those or something? Okay, so I'm going to ask for a motion in a second to remove items 20, 21, 23, 24,
22.
22. 22, that was the last one. For a separate vote.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Okay, so let's go back
Now
to
we go back to
discussion.
discussion. Does everybody else ask their question?
Yes.
Okay, so, I think things got moved because now my numbers are a little messy. So the multi-year, the BOCES multi-year things here.
What number?
Well, now it's number 3.
Number 3.
Number 3. Didn't we approve all these at the reorg?
What gets approved at the reorg are the annual,
Oh, I'm sorry,
Cool.
no, wrong question.
Okay.
Number 4, go back to number 3. Number 3, yeah, I'm on the wrong page, that's fine. All right, start here. Number 2, let's start with number 2, let's start right at the beginning. Resolution to increase the plant and facilities contractual appropriation. increase, why isn't it a replacement? How much was the repair? Why is it an increase? Why is it not a replacement?
This is a reimbursement.
Right, so we must have spent the money,
Insurance company,
right?
and that's how much the invoice came in to do the repair.
Right, so it's not an increase, the word says increase, it's not really, we're not increasing that budget line, we're just replacing the money that we spent, correct?
We're going to use this money to pay the invoice for the work that was done.
Right, but we're not increasing.
You do actually have to increase to expend from it. But the source of the revenue is from insurance.
So you're increasing and then decreasing.
Increasing and using that specific money to pay for that specific repair.
So in other words, here's my question. The budget line is $1,000, and we spend $500 for a repair, but then we get the check back. Does the budget line go up to $1,500, or does it stay at $1,000?
What was budgeted for did not include fixing for this loss from the pipe freeze. So the budget is going to increase with an unexpected repair by this amount. We'll go over the $1,000, for example.
Right, so, but your budget is going to stay the same, it's just gonna go over on the other side. So we'll see it. In other words, are you
We
gonna,
are increasing the overall budget. We are.
this year, so then next year, so when we work on that budget, it's gonna say $1,500.
It's going to show, yes, the
Even though we may
adjusted-
not have the first pay next year.
Right, that's
That's
true.
my question.
There'll be an adjusted budget amount.
Thank you. That was my question on that. So, number 3, the BOCES project. It's $500,000 for Chromebooks. How many do we currently have? And why do we need 1,540 more?
We made a presentation to the board last year regarding our technology infrastructure as well as our equipment for students. We laid out a multi-year plan with regards to the instructional technology and what devices we were going to put for our children. And this is the result of that. It's actually the finalization of the contract so that we can now purchase the equipment. We currently have Chromebook carts in each of our secondary schools. I think we have 1 to 2 in the middle schools and about 4 in the high school.
So we need 1,540 more Chromebooks?
Correct, we have a multi-departmental plan so that we can increase the number of devices in front of children throughout the next couple of years.
Okay, despite all the studies on tech being no good for elementary kids, we still want to do this?
Yes,
$300,000 for more smart boards? How many classes don't have them? Plus wall
we have
mats.
72 smart boards that currently, right now, in district, every instructional space has an interactive board. Some of those boards are end of life, this is phase 3. This is probably the 4th year of the implementation of the smart boards.
How long do they last, Steve?
The newer ones are lasting up to 12 years. So right now we have 70 rooms throughout the district that it's the final phase of the replacement from the old Promethean boards to move to smart as part of our multi-year plan to create a flat environment across all of our schools so that our teachers are using and our kids are experiencing the same software and hardware.
So I just want to point out that the total for all of this, because some of it's financed and some of it isn't, the total for
It's
all
all
of this,
financed.
no, some of it said non-finance, it's $76,000.
The non-financed are the BOCES fees.
Right. So some of the money was non-financed, right. So that total is $1.35 million
Yes,
with the interest and the finances.
yes. About 4 years ago, during one of the technology committee meetings, Dr. Adams and myself, as well as the former technology director, laid out a multi-year plan for technology integration in our schools, and this is the last year of one of our multi-year purchases.
So $1.35 million, and we want to spend what on these conferences? All right, no, I'm going to go on. Number, that was facetious, I'm sorry.
This is for kids in the
That was
classroom?
facetious, I'm sorry, I'm moving on. My next page, hold on. Consent agenda. Number 4 now, impartial hearing officer. Didn't we appoint all these people up in New York? Why are we appointing another one?
We appoint and finalize the list every year, but as New York State updates their list, we're required to do so.
So we have to have more?
Some are taken off, some are put on.
Oh, okay, thank
And
you.
it's all driven by New York State. So they send us an update and we reflect that in our board.
No problem, thank you. So number 5, the High School Honor Society has a trip, and they're going to Pennsylvania. And I asked this when I was on the other side of the board. First of all, this is $685 a kid. How are the children paying for this? That's a lot of money, especially for a family that might not be able to afford it. What are we gonna do about a family that can't afford it? Are we going to pay $685 for them? It looks like a great trip. It does, the first one, Concord Middle School trip from Philadelphia. It looks like a fabulous trip. I looked at the itinerary, it looks amazing. It's a lot of money. And my other question is, their money was due in before the trip was approved. How does that happen?
I'll look into the time frame of the money being submitted by students.
Because now if a student wants to go and they can't afford it and they don't have other alternatives, or we don't know how they're raising the money, maybe they didn't put their deposit in and now they're not going. So a little issue with that. But can you tell me how the kids are raising the $685 for this?
I think a portion of it is raised through fundraising through their club.
It didn't say that on the paper.
I'll clarify for you.
Thank you, Dean. Okay. Number 7, medieval times, and I know the board in the last 3 years, one of the times, we talked about medieval times because they go in 5th grade, I think, and then they go at other times, and I believe the board was working to make it so that each kid gets to go one time instead of some kids getting to go 10 times to medieval times. So I just want to know if that's happening, or, because this is 9th grade now, not 5th grade.
Yes, we're making sure that we're, that it's grade
I think
appropriate.
it's a great trip too. Let me put that out
No,
there.
you are correct. That was raised by a former board member with regards to the redundancy of the trip, and we have worked with the schools to make sure that it is not a redundant experience for them.
Because this is 9th grade now, usually we go in 5th grade, right?
We had students go in 5th, and we also had students go in 6th. That was more of the issue.
Okay, so 5th grade and 9th grade is okay, but 5th grade and 6th grade. Yes, no?
Because some of the students hadn't had this experience.
Oh, okay. So that's the ones that are going? The ones that haven't gone yet?
Yeah, not all 5th graders participated in it, and not all 6th graders participated in it. So the 9th grade experience.
Were you working on that to make sure that they all got to participate in that?
No, it was more that it wasn't a redundancy, so that kids weren't going in 5th grade and then again in 6th grade.
So some kids are still not going at all?
Probably was.
All right, and again, Linda, the same question for both trips. How are we paying for kids that can't afford this?
Our schools work very hard, and it's the same answer that I gave you that you're never satisfied with.
No, because it never gets done, and there's plenty of kids that don't get to go on the trips, and it's a shame. These are families that are.
I disagree. I think we are between our
You can't
classroom
disagree
teachers.
with me on this because I went through this
I
personally.
can't disagree.
You can't.
Because I think our teachers and our YFS workers, as well as our school nurses, work very hard to make sure that there's equity amongst the students. And those students who are having some financial difficulty are always supported.
So they're, all right, you know what, I'm gonna leave that one past because that's not entirely true, though, because again, as someone who went through that, it did not happen that way.
I'm not saying that the entire trip is paid for. What I am saying is that every family is
We're talking
supported.
about $685, that's a lot of money. Anyway, number 12, when we transfer, we just talked about that, Sharon, so forget it, I don't need to know, it does increase the budget. So when we transfer, is this the same thing?
No.
Okay.
No, that's just for one coach account.
Right, so when we say we have $1,000 in code A,
Right,
and we're transferring it to cover something in code A,
right.
and we're reducing that code A now by $500. And so the budget is now $500, and the new code is increased by $500. Okay, thank you. The reimbursement, someone asked about this, have we ever done this before? What is the cost? And have we ever done this before? So we're reimbursing someone else, but the poor kids that can't go on the trip. No, what is the cost on this?
This is a high school student who was nominated for the 2018 NAFME, which is the All National Honors Ensemble.
Right, I read
It was held in Walt Disney World. The overall cost for the trip was $1,123.96.
$1,123.96.
Part of it was registration, the other part was the airfare. We did not pay for lodging or food for the child.
Okay. So can I just ask what the difference is between this child and a child that can't afford to go on that other trip for $685 or the medieval times trip? What's the difference? Isn't that a gift of public funds then?
This child went on a competition, and we support our children in the music department who go to All State, and we consider this a similar venue.
Okay. So the Honor Society is going on a trip to support their curriculum. That doesn't really answer my question.
It's not a competition.
Okay, but it's supporting their Honor Society curriculum.
But this is a competition, and we support financially the competitions for our students.
Oh, so the sports kids get their
This is a music child.
a music child. Okay, so sports and music would get it because they're competitions. I'm just clarifying, I'm not, just clarifying.
No, this is part of their curriculum.
So,
So she's an ensemble student, and this is an extension of her curriculum.
so then now, I'm confused. So is it curriculum or is it competition?
It is an extension of the curriculum, so it's a competition for her, so it's an extension. She was nominated for this.
Okay, but the cost is what I'm talking about. I know what she was nominated for. We don't normally pay for the trips. So,
Again, I'm going to disagree with you on that. We have subsidized all of our students who need that in order to go on the educational trips.
okay. All right, number 14. I guess this is to you, Sharon. Are these guys paying a fee? Have we done the fee for any of them yet, or are we just letting everybody go?
Okay, which item is this?
Number 14, this is facilities use approval request from Suffolk Women's Lacrosse Officials Association. So I just don't know if we are still doing the fee schedule, or was that, because I know there was a problem with it, with letting the facilities go
We're
this year.
operating under the existing fee schedule.
So they are,
The
so if they were
previous
charged a
fee
fee, they would be extra good. What is BAFFA? Under number 15, of the approved organizations? What is that? What is that? It's under the number 14. 15, sorry. It's a weird acronym, so I didn't know what it was.
I didn't remember.
First time question, she asked beforehand.
Okay, so what is BAFFA? Do you know? Lee, you want to tell me?
I don't know. I heard it, but I don't know.
So they're on the approved list of them?
No, it's just I forgot.
That's okay. All right, will you just let me know, I'm just curious?
Yeah.
I'm checking. It's number 15, it's on the list, an attachment. Then number 17, the Motorola, this is probably you, John. It says that we mailed, 78 vendors saw it, we mailed out 2 packages, but we got 3 vendors. Or was that Don? Don got the Motorola radios. It said we mailed out 2 packages, but we got 3 vendors. How does that happen? So there was, we did a bid award for Motorola radios. And it says 2 packages, 2 bid packages were mailed out. But we got 3 vendors. I'm just curious as to how that.
Because they're also posted to the Empire State Bid System, so
Okay.
somebody could have seen it there.
And just send it there?
Yes.
Perfect, thank you. Number 18, BOCES, Instructional Technology Multi-Year Service Agreement. And number 19, I'll do both of them at once. We're talking $874,000 for internet service. That's really spotty. Is that gonna help us with this internet thing? With $874,000 we pay these people, and I can't get service in, I know parts of this building we can't get service.
I don't, this is our Wi-Fi, this is our WAN and LAN service. It's something that we pay a yearly fee to.
Right.
We negotiated with the vendors to create a multi-year schedule in order to reduce the costs and increase our bandwidth to our schools. What it also allows for is a redundancy between our disaster recovery site as well as our main terminal, which is at the high school. So if any time that any one of those systems goes down, the district will continue to function without notice.
I think I didn't make my point there. We're spending $874,000. What are they doing to make sure that we have the capabilities that they're saying that we're paying for?
I'm not really sure what you're asking.
We're paying a lot of money and we don't get the service.
What service?
Do you get Wi-Fi in here all the time?
This is not Wi-Fi, this is internet pipe service to the buildings. This is actually fiber.
This is a hard wire line that goes to two facilities in our district.
So the two facilities we're paying $874,000. Okay. Thank you. And then the rest are,
It's actually a reduction and a savings
it's
over
actually
time for us.
17, 18, and 19, really, because it's all of them. Because there's also the fiber lines that we're paying for too.
Yeah, this is an overall reduction for us in service. We reduced one vendor over time and allowed us to save some money for the district.
Good enough. That's it. The rest are full.
Okay, I just have one question, maybe it goes to either Linda or Dean. What does the OBMS school do for the Honor Society children? Because I know consecutively I've seen it with the kids that come from our building in Philadelphia. Is there any equity there?
I'll check with my understanding is they don't take a trip out of state, so I'll check.
Okay, so is it something that we can look forward to in the future?
I will speak to the building administration.
Thank you. Okay, so I will have to take a vote on the remaining items, right? Are you in favor? Okay, so I'm going to take it all in favor, excluding the items pulled. Aye.
No, I also want to pull number 3 now. I don't want to vote. I'm staying for number 3.
All right, so we're,
Take a motion to.
all right, so I need a motion to remove item number 3 for a separate vote. Second,
Second.
all in favor? Okay, so I'm going to ask that you vote on items 2 through, now pay attention, now 2 through 24, excluding 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 3.
Correct.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're moving on to take a motion second to vote on items 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and number 3. Motion. So we're going to have a discussion on any of the items of 21, 20, 23, 24. You ready to go? No discussion? Okay, so,
I have no discussion on number 3, so if you're starting from here.
all right, so you know what, how about we individually do this?
Okay, good.
Okay, I prefer to do it that way.
Sure.
All right, so we'll start at 24 and work our way back. All right, so number 24,
Oh, we're starting with number 24?
you'll work our way back up.
Hold on, I gotta get back to that.
Then board member resolution.
So I have a little discussion.
Okay.
So when Mark and I ran for the board, Mark won with the most amount of votes. I came in second. And the next person that came in was Nick Ferrioli. So the only way that I think it's fair is that the public picks the 5th board member, not me. And so if you guys want to approve Nick Ferrioli tonight, I'm all for that. The public voted for him.
The way that it's always been done in the past, when you look for a 5th board member,
I don't care how you do that.
well, I'm just telling you how it's been done in the past,
I know.
you need all our votes. It is publicized by the superintendent.
But it doesn't have to. done that.
Well, it doesn't have to be done that way. Okay, you know what?
So-
You don't
so the
want to
voters
discuss, let's
voted.
vote.
The voters already voted, and I think, and they vetted us, they asked us a lot of questions, we went to many meet the candidate nights, and, I think the third person who came in third should get the position then.
I'm gonna be honest, this Peter Pan politics, sorry.
That's not politics, that's,
He's
that's,
sitting in the audience, he's sitting here today.
so,
Something's going on. Sorry.
oh.
So I'm gonna, my answer is no.
So anybody I bring up, you're gonna answer is gonna be no. So what's the point of doing this?
Mark?
Said I'm not voting on anything. I don't think we need a fifth board member. He
You're
said this.
abstaining?
Yes.
Well, done. That's not.
So the motion fails?
Yep.
Next.
Okay, so we're moving on to the capital project resolution.
So we don't want to.
Is there a discussion or are we going straight to a vote?
I don't have any discussion, Mark wants to table it, so I'll second that table.
Okay, well, you need 3 per table.
When do we need 3 per table? Lee just tabled something before without
We
any
didn't
of us
table
saying
anything.
that.
I didn't table anything.
What did you table, Lee?
Nothing.
Okay, so.
I didn't get my information until today at 3 o'clock. So if you want to make me vote, the vote's no.
Okay.
But I'd rather wait so I can look over my information I got.
You
So I
can
don't
make
know
the motion-
what you're trying to
You
prove.
can make the motion to table and then vote on the motion to table.
Okay, so make a motion to table.
I want a motion to table. I didn't get all the information.
What kind of information, what kind of information?
Yeah, what was the information? We can discuss it right now.
It was basically about the libraries.
Okay, so what was your question?
My question was, how are we gonna use them? If we're gonna spend $7.5 million, I wanna see the procedure. Exactly what's gonna happen when there's a criteria for each student. And there's a curriculum that each student can, there's not enough time in the day for them to use the library. So I'm all for using the students to get to the library, but are we gonna be able to use it? So I asked for some kind of format that I need to look over. I don't think I was asking for much. We're spending $8 million almost. I mean, that's a lot of money to spend without being able to. And I wanted to ask teachers. I've asked a few teachers, and I've asked a few other people. And I've even asked my son, that happens to be an honor student that one year. I said, how'd you like the library in Sycamore? Dad, I didn't know they had a library.
Leah said that.
And I don't mean it a bit. I'm not.
I truly understand what you're saying.
So I get moving forward, and I'm not gonna, I really don't want to.
I know, but the way I see it, your son did use the library well, and he's going to look at trying to do his
Is
best.
get the kids. I get it, Lee. That's why I
And
asked.
then,
That's why I asked for the information
yeah, and
that I
then,
got today.
wait, then, go ahead.
Dean, what time did you send this to me? What time did I get this today?
Dean, can we just bypass that and just answer his question publicly?
I don't know. I want to know. I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot, but
No, I mean that,
you're putting me on the spot.
I'm not putting you on the spot.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
You're
No,
not?
I'm
No.
You're asking me to vote today when I'm not ready.
You know what, you had from July until now, we're in December.
No, wait,
I spoke
This
to
is
John
legit.
Allen numerous times.
This is legit, let me answer some of the questions that you might be concerned about.
You can't answer them for me. I need to go out there and find out from public. Not from you, Lee.
I'm already going by what.
There's nothing for me to hear from
Connect
you.
Library.
It's your opinion.
No,
This is on me to go out there and do the research.
This is.
Well,
I'm so
wait,
sorry.
I'm gonna bypass this. Dean, can you answer the question?
This is the Connect, what
Yeah.
library is doing for elementary?
Yeah, let's see what Dean's answer question.
So you're telling me now that we're duplicating what Connecticut Library's doing?
No, we're not duplicating, it's totally different.
Can we allow Dean
Then
to
why do we
answer
want to
the
know what
question?
Connecticut Library's doing?
Can we allow Dean to answer the question?
Yes. So I spoke to Mr. Warshaw on Wednesday of last week. We had a discussion regarding the same content, and that was emailed to him today at 2:36.
So did you have time to look it over and review it?
I run a business. I have time.
No, you didn't have time. So you want time to look it over and review it, you want to make a motion to table that, you say?
So I have copies of what I sent.
I don't have anything, I'd like to see.
I have it.
This,
No.
What you sent today?
Yes.
Yeah, I have a copy.
I don't have a copy, I'd like to see it.
I printed it so I could read it tonight. And I wanted to read it.
The first page is why to renovate our elementary libraries, and it discusses from two standpoints. One, from an instructional standpoint, the second from a student use standpoint.
Just so,
The back page has a sample schedule of what the usage would be like with the new library.
Discuss this one thing right here now.
I don't wanna discuss this all, I wanna sit home and I
I'm
wanna
gonna
look
be
at
quite
this
honest
digest
with you, Dean, it's all great, these are figures you put together and numbers you put together. I need to talk to teachers, students, and get the right facts here. I'm spending the people's money here. So, Mylene, with all due respect, when you spend people's money, you gotta look into it. I'm not saying I'm against anything, I just wanna look into it.
And with all due respect, Mark.
I know, I had all this
I've been
time,
doing
it's
this for
what
almost
you
3
said.
years, all due respect, Mark.
And you did a bad job because you're also approving, you're approving something that I totally went across the
Well, you're
board.
gonna sit there
And no, let's
point-
bring it up.
If you're gonna point me
Let's
out,
bring it up.
Well, excuse me, if
baseball-
you're gonna point me out as doing a
I'm not
bad job,
pointing you out.
I'm
I'm
gonna
not
tell
pointing
you
you
right
out.
now, I did not
You don't
put one thing on this bond. I want the public to know this, I did not put one thing on this bond.
We approved to
sat-
get
wait, listen to
bleachers
me.
and spent
I sat
$682,000
on a
on
committee.
bleachers. Where we
I
don't even
sat-
fill them up.
Excuse me?
We don't fill them up, but we're gonna spend $682,000
Well, you know
on
what?
bleachers.
And I understand what you say, as the numbers went down.
I know, we're
haven't
gonna
been
look for
to
the
a- I
future,
haven't been
that
to
we
a
might
game.
have an extra 10,000 people there. So let's spend $682,000 today.
I agree with
Come on.
you taking them off, but when I was going to football games, the bleachers were full. I haven't.
Donnie,
been to
how
one
long
in
has it been
3
since the
years.
bleachers have been filled?
Every year when you go to,
Why, I'm speaking out loud, I go to all the games.
when I go to football games.
I do, I'm there. Unfortunately, I was just at the Sachem game. Sachem had more fans than us on the visitor side. There's not, but we're willing to spend $682,000, but without me looking over it. Don't look over it, right? Just let it go by.
Okay, so what were you doing since July?
So I was doing some talking to some contractors, 9 of them to be exact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I talked to them because when you're doing this kind of bond with an energy performance contract right after it, every single one of these 9 contractors told me that you should be very careful and do your due diligence because say you want air conditioning for where the kids take the SAT tests. You want to put in the right univent, what are they called? You want to put in the right univent so that you can do this and you're not wasting the public's money. So I've been talking to people, I've been talking to contractors and they say it's better to take your time and do it right than to kick yourself in the butt afterwards and say, crap, I should have done that, or oh no, I wanted to put air conditioning in that space so the kids don't sweat their bananas off while they're taking an SAT test. So we have, and I asked this to be put on the agenda, I don't see it on there tonight, we have this plus the $28 million energy performance contract that has to work together, and we haven't discussed that part at all. So I've been doing some of my own due diligence, and at this point right now, I'm not ready to do all this. I'm not ready to vote on this, especially if you want it as a separate vote. I already talked to you about what the community said to me, they don't want it on one full vote, but they also don't want it done in February, they want it done in May on the budget vote. And I think that we should respect some of
The
that.
community told you this?
Yeah, I had over 100 people call me about the bond.
100?
100, Lee, yeah. Yeah, Lee, I talk to the community every day. I'm out there with the civic, I'm out there with the PTAs, and I'm out there all the time. So yes, Lee, I talk to over 100 people.
Well, you know what, why don't we do this? I'll make a suggestion right now.
I'm just waiting for you to.
Wait, I'll make a suggestion right now. You don't want the elementary library.
I never said I didn't want the elementary.
I am
libraries.
talking tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
No,
Well,
I
you're
didn't
looking
say-
at me, so
I
don't
didn't
But
say-
you're not, right now, right this
I didn't say I didn't want
second,
them, I said I need to do more
He just
homework
wants to
on it.
look at it.
Okay, and you,
He wants to table it
well,
later.
listen, let's do what you
But
guys
you have
want.
been calling me, texting me.
I haven't been called, you call and threaten you.
I like to play it back.
You called me.
Would you like,
Yeah,
would
go
you like?
ahead, yes. Mark, you said
came
to
right
me,
out and I'll show
you
you the
said to
text.
me, you called
You
me.
came to my office at one time and you told me you came to my office at times. This has to stop.
You called me the
This
other day.
has to stop. Did you come to my office?
Did you call me the other day?
Yes, so I called you. Big
Did
deal. I
you
didn't
say
come to you.
This is irrelevant.
This has to stop.
This is
Lee.
irrelevant. This is irrelevant.
You called the other day
You
and
came to
told
my
me.
office,
All right,
I want to
this is irrelevant.
on a vote.
So what are we taking off the bond? What are we doing? So right now,
My suggestion is, they'll take off the elementary libraries for now, give Eileen her second bond, so it's gonna be 2 bonds. And we vote on it for February, to give the public in February.
I said this to you the other day, and you
No.
told me
I'm not
no.
doing it in February.
You know what?
I'm not spending
I sat on the
$2,000 more.
phone with you for 9
Now, you
hours.
said the opposite.
You didn't want to budge about anything 9 hours.
Well, you don't want the libraries, elementary.
I told you
I
I
don't
look
want, I
into
don't
it.
want to do it wrong, Lee. I want to work in tandem
All right,
with
so
the
let's just
energy
take a vote.
performance contract.
Let's take a vote.
Why do you want to kill the bond though? Then you're killing the entire bond.
Do you care
Why
about
don't you
the
just
kids?
table it and let us get our information
You don't
instead of
want the
killing
kids,
it?
you don't
Yeah.
wanna give kids libraries.
So what?
What does
No,
that have to do?
I didn't say no
Nobody
to
said
this.
that, my
I
Lynn.
did not say
What
no
you
to
said
You've been
anything.
coming to these meetings for how many years?
I did not say no, I wanted
And you don't
information.
know anything by now.
12 years I've been coming.
I haven't seen you in 12 years. Wait, anyway,
12 years
you
I've been
said.
coming to these. 12 years I've been coming to these meetings.
And you know
And
nothing.
nothing is ever
and you
done
know
with their
nothing
due
about-
diligence
you
except
know
this
nothing-
time.
You know nothing about what they've done for the past 2 years. It makes no sense at all.
I've been doing my research, Lee. Just because I don't call you guys every day, you guys don't call me
I
at
don't-
all.
I don't call anyone
I
at
don't call
all.
anybody.
Well, I don't know about that. But in
It's
any
social
case,
maybe, but it's not social, no.
well, then
I
I
don't.
don't talk to either one of you, and
I know,
so that's good.
you know, I know, you went to the workshop, but didn't we have a nice,
Lee, I know, Lee,
Well,
don't worry, you
but-
can vote no on the workshop, as soon as we vote no for this.
I know, I'm talking about the
That's your
workshop.
gotcha, I got it, it's okay.
the
Lee,
board
it's okay.
workshop,
It's
remember the
good.
board
No
workshop?
problem, yeah, the workshop that was,
I don't care
The
anyway.
board workshop.
I don't wanna go there,
I
I wanna talk about the bond. The
What
bond,
about the board workshop that
I'm,
you wanted, that
we're on
cost
the
us
bond,
money?
we're not on the board workshop. If you wanna talk about the board workshop, we'll talk about that later. We're talking about the bond right now, though, are we not? Or am I on a different page? Are we talking about the bond?
We're talking about the
So I
bond.
would like to keep the bond because I think that it's important that we get it done for the children.
No, because you're gonna keep pushing it up, pushing it up, pushing it up, pushing it up.
So you wanna kill the entire bond?
You don't want it then.
I didn't say I don't want it, don't put
You
words in my
want what
mouth.
you want, not
I
what
want
you
to
didn't
do my
want.
due
Did you not
diligence
tell
to make
Mark,
sure we
did
do
you
the.
not tell
Can I
Mark?
finish what I'm saying? I would like to do my due diligence to make sure we're doing the best job possible when we're spending $50 million of public funds. 50 million,
46.5.
not $2,000 for a freaking trip. $50 million. $50 million. It's okay, Lee, I know you're gonna say no to that, that's fine.
Well, what do you do on it? What do you, what?
I don't really care.
You
That's why I
couldn't
put it
get up
on
in the
there.
morning to go to the workshop
That's
before?
fine, that's
Why?
fine.
You
So
tell
you
me
can
why.
learn things.
Tell the public
So you
why.
could, so you could learn things.
Tell the public why you didn't go to.
All right, we're getting
What
off
are you
track,
talking
we're
about?
getting off
I
track.
went to workshops.
We're getting
I
off
went to
track.
workshops. I missed
I know
one.
you
We're getting
The one I
off, we're
wanted to
getting
go
off
to.
track, we're getting off track.
Please, Lee,
Enough.
I already know you want to try to do it
Enough,
on
I
this
said
fine.
enough.
I spoke
We're
fine.
gonna
I
call a
spoke
recess for
fine.
5 seconds, or
Jesus
for
Christ.
5 minutes.
I'm not ready to kill the bond totally.
5 minutes, I warned you.
Ouch.
Well, there's 3 other people here.
I'll get up
So,
to.
I'm still discussing. Okay,
You know
so
what?
leave it.
I said
Down to
5
5 minutes.
minutes.
Good.
This is pre-planned, all of it was pre-planned.
Nothing was
Oh,
pre-planned.
yes,
You're
it
the only
was.
one that pre-plans things, Lee.
I didn't want to talk
Stop
about it, you guys
drinking so
made
much,
me
you
talk
just
about
stop being a board
it.
member.
How is anything to be planned?
I don't know. You want a shovel, Lee? There's one in my car. I never said I wanted that. I said I wanted it in May. My Lee, what
I
did I
wanted
hear?
to, because I want to split it right now.
I said I wanted the vote in May. That's what I said. That's all I ever said about the bond. Then I was talking to the energy performance contract people because with a discussion with Mr. Allen, but that's coming up with $28 million. And I found out from several contractors, look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 contractors that I talked to, they said it's best to do a bond in conjunction with the energy performance contract, not afterwards, so that you do it right and you don't kiss it. I just said all of this. I don't know why I have to repeat myself again. So now I'm saying it and you're not listening, so what's the point of me talking? You don't listen anyway. You want it your way and that's it. So just, if my lid, if you want it your way, it goes back to committee. I'm good with that too.
It sounds like you want to go back to the
I
committee.
don't. I think this was a great start, but
I
things
think
have to
this
be
one is great.
adjusted. Things have to be adjusted.
And
I don't
why-
think it's
Wait a
perfect.
second.
I think it's a great start.
We did-
No, I'm speaking now, Lee, and I got yelled at for cutting off my lid. Let me finish. I think this is a great start. There's a lot of good things on here, a lot of needed things. There's a lot of things that should still be added to it, and some things that should be coming off and put it to Mark. I have no problem with that, and I have no problem giving Mark till January 22nd to figure it out so that we don't hurt our community and our kids. You're the one that wants it right now, the way you want it. You want us to rip stuff off, and I don't think it should be ripped off like that. I'm sorry. I think it's a good bond, it's a good start, but it needs some refinement. And I say we wait till January 22nd. And my only criteria is to do it with the budget vote, so we don't spend even more of the public's money. Which is $40,000, not $2,000.
Not $4,000.
Well, actually, it would be $8,000, but apparently that means that you two don't want to go.
I just.
Are you finished talking now?
I'm done.
Okay, are you done?
I'm done.
The reason that I when I go to these functions, I don't spend time doing things that you told me you did. No, she just wanted to insult me, I'm gonna insult you back.
Oh, you
Can I
told
talk
me
about
that.
the bond?
Wait, the way you spoke
This
to
is
me,
baby stuff.
the
I
way you
don't
spoke,
wanna see this
what
money.
you did at that conference is shameful.
What did I do at that
you told me.
conference?
End of story.
We went out to speak to vendors. What did I
End
do?
story.
No, say it, Lee. Don't make insinuations about my character.
You-
What did I do at that conference?
What
I had
you
a couple
told
of
me.
drinks, and I bought them myself on my own time after the conference
Because
was over.
you can't buy alcohol.
Why is that a problem?
You can't buy
Why is that a
alcohol.
problem?
We don't
Why is
take
that a
alcohol.
problem?
You didn't.
You didn't. You
This
didn't.
conversation's
I didn't
irrelevant to the
I'm
bond.
an adult.
Hey, Jan,
I
I
can
take it back.
drink.
I can ask for another
I
5-minute
didn't get
recess. I can ask for another 5-minute recess. This is irrelevant to the bond.
It is.
Mark,
Why didn't you bring it up?
you
Ask
said
me later.
You're talking about money for
Mark,
trips.
Mark, you said January 8th?
I asked just so, I really.
He said January 27th.
January 8th, you know what?
But I'll do
He said January
January,
22nd.
I'll work, I'll do it. You know what? My son's coming home from the army, but you know what, Mylan? You want it done January 8th, and this district needs it, and the kids need it, I'm here. I'll do it. My son comes when he hasn't been home for 3 years for Christmas. But whatever you want, I'm doing. I'm here.
You do it
You
January
can't give
8th?
it to him
I'll do
January
whatever you
22nd
want.
so he can enjoy the
I'm
holidays
here.
with his family.
I'm
Oh
here.
my God.
I'm willing to go the extra mile because that's what I'm about. You know, church, the other day I'm in church, you know what they talk about? Love. You gotta get something in your heart. There's nothing going on here. There's nothing like that here.
I'm
There's
loving my
hate.
heart.
No,
I just choose who I give it
We don't
to.
need you to love your heart. You need to be loving, caring to other people. The way you talk, the way we talk.
You know what?
Listen, I asked if, I'm
You know what, you talk
I'm
about
willing
love.
to do
and
whatever
that
you
goes-
want.
Like
Please
you
just
talk
answer
about
the
love and
question.
that goes with respect.
I'm not
I'm
disrespecting
gonna
anybody. I
address this
have
right
not
now.
disrespected anybody.
No. When
And
you
if
talk
I
about
have,
love, that
I-
comes with respect. Love and
I-
respect go
I
hand in
have not
hand.
disrespected anybody. I will not do that. If you're saying
I'm
I
not
have,
asking you to, I'm
I'm
trying
asking-
to make a point on something.
I'll go with January 8th, Mark.
January 8th.
but we have to get a three-way. vote.
January 8th.
I just,
I'm not doing January. I'm spending time with my family. Sorry, they're way more important than anything here.
Okay, then maybe you should have made this commitment to the board.
let's just go down.
Yeah, I said what I wanted, so we'll see what happens.
So January 8th, the two of you are gonna come to the table and you're gonna bring,
Listen,
Wait, don't
my
say the two of
sister
you. What he does is
just
different
came
from
out
what
of the
I do.
hospital. Don't predict and tell me what I gotta do ever.
Okay.
I answer the door.
all right,
That's
let's
why
get to that
I
point.
said,
You know what?
I
It's that
will, if
point.
my
All right.
sister's fine, get to
All
the
right,
holidays.
we'll bring it
I'm
personal
fine.
action here.
January 8th, that's fine. I said
January
I'm fine. But don't say to me, hey, no matter what. Come on.
Okay, we make a motion to table for January 8th.
So for an hour and a half, we just argued with the table.
Yeah, but, and like I asked for this 2 times already, now I'm
So
gonna ask
Miley, I
for,
just told you.
I'm gonna ask for it the 3rd time because every time there seems to be an excuse.
Talking
I
about
say
it
come
doesn't make
to-
it right.
January 8th, make that motion.
No, wait, hold on, before we go on.
It's not a
I'm not
it's not a monologue. It's a conversation. It's not a monologue.
Okay,
Just
so then
remember
what are we gonna do? You know what, the last 3 meetings have been unproductive. Why?
Mylene, we got a
It's
lot
been
done.
unproductive.
We got a lot done. Oh, let's talk about the last 3 meetings. Don't talk about me when I leave here because my
Motion on
husband
the
is sick.
table. Are you voting or not?
Excuse me.
No,
No.
seriously, can we please move on?
Thank you. I agree with them. They don't want to hear us.
There's a motion on the table.
And I
The
have,
table to
yeah,
January 8th.
excuse me. So anyway, January 8th, you're coming to this table because I've asked this the last 2 meetings and apparently it has not been accomplished. You were supposed to come to the table and say what you want off the bond.
I didn't say what I wanted. I didn't say I wanted anything off the bond. So
I will come to this.
all right.
I said I want to add to the
So
bond,
wait.
actually.
So wait a minute, you can't answer the bond, it needs another committee.
That's not true. You can
It's
do
not
whatever
true.
you want. You don't have to say.
John,
you
you need another committee to
No.
add on things to the bond.
No. Thank you. I
So
asked.
I want to
You
add stuff
haven't
onto the
done your
bonds, I
homework.
can?
The committee makes, this is
Makes
my understanding
recommendations.
and my knowledge of facility committees and everything.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We make a recommendation, the committee makes a recommendation, It is the board's ultimate decision as to how to proceed.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Okay,
All right, so
so,
we're gonna add stuff for the bond then. I wanna add science labs at the high school.
Whatever you wanna do, I don't care, but I have to
can you take, well, can Mark tell, you have a list of what Mark wants for so far? Which made sense.
I have a couple of items that we just spoke about.
It's not what I want, just so everybody
No,
understands.
no, I know
It's
what,
what we discussed tonight, that's not necessary for the kids.
okay,
And
so,
we're not spending money
can you
foolishly
put something
for the
together
taxpayer.
minus those things? Because when you told me, I respected what Mark had to say. Can you put something together minus those things?
I don't know if I have the complete list.
Can you
We had
please,
some
Mark, can you
conversation.
please give me the complete
However
list?
it's going to take place.
So on January 8th, those things are going to be off the list. Those things will be discussed that are going off the list. And we're going to take a vote on January 8th. So whatever it is anyone wants or not wants is going to be January 8th, and we're going to come to a conclusion. We can't do this
In
anymore.
conjunction with the energy performance contract type for the heating and air conditioning and that kind of thing. So I don't wanna do it wrong. It's a lot of money, I wanna do it right.
So a couple months ago, we had a discussion item, both capital project and energy performance. And it was decided to take the energy performance off the
Only because
conversation.
we only got 2 bidders, we wanted it to go back out to bid. Did it go back out to bid?
Nobody directed me to go out to bid again. And you might find yourself in a lawsuit, throwing out a contract, throwing out an RFP, because you're not happy with just 2 responses. You have to find out the purchasing, what the regulations are, but I know that the 6 packets were picked up. So why 4 companies chose not to respond, I can't speak to. Because it's not like it's one of those things where we call them afterwards and say, why didn't we respond? We took the 2 responses we had, we presented them to the board of
We
education.
actually got 3 responses in return.
We got a 3rd response late, which in my opinion, and I think purchasing law, doesn't count as a valid response. So we got one a day late.
Let me answer, just for a large project, a lot of money, I just think more bids is necessary. How do we make it so we get more? I don't know the answer, that's why I'm asking you.
I don't know
Just
purchasing
to
law.
get,
I don't know
to
purchasing
get
law.
2 bids on a job that's 20.
So John, what you're looking for now is consensus from the board to be able to go out and RFP, and then we have to ask our attorney. and then-
I would have to
Purchasing law, I don't know what
look
the
at,
campaign took.
in order for me to tell you whether or not you can go out to rebid right now, I have to look at the first bid to see why it was rejected and all the facts and circumstances.
Well, I'd like to know how he went out to rebid. Did he post it properly? When he did it in the first place? He said how many people posted it?
6.
Where did he post it? He posted it in newspaper?
And he doesn't post it, the district posts it. So every time the district does any kind of bid or
I have a few
RFP.
questions for him that I'd like to ask from the contractors that I heard.
Okay, but we gotta make sure we separate it from what the architect question is and what might be purchasing
Well,
or
it's,
something else internal. So he makes recommendation, he asks for dates as to when the district is gonna be available to do bid opening. The district does all the posting of the laws and then the responses come in. So, I mean, it is an extensive conversation. I mean, I hear what you're saying, as far as.
because it works hand in hand, and I don't want to.
Ideally, it was hand in hand, absolutely, which was
And
the
out of
direct.
these 9 contracts, I'm telling you, 7 of them said you really should work together so that you do it right. You don't miss something that you really should have put in.
And that was discussed at length 2 years ago when we started this
But
process.
I wasn't confused.
No, I'm not saying we were, but I just feel like, I just want to make sure everyone's clear. This was done 100% with that mindset.
What happened to the air conditioning for the kids in the gym area and that? So if there was no kids in mind, that should have been a priority too when the kids are testing. That's a
Air
big
conditioning in the
priority.
gym is taken care of.
I'm talking about where they test, I'm sorry, not just in the gym.
So,
When we put them in the cafeteria or in the kitchen.
They test the gym,
Or
don't they?
sweltering.
are we talking about the high school right now?
We're talking about all the schools. When the kids have to test, they're sweltering.
Okay, so one of the topics that came up as far as the capital conversation was air conditioning in the buildings. It was discussed by the group. Some people felt it was worth considering, some people based on the price tag said it wasn't.
But if it's done with the energy performance contract,
Once again, I told you that my understanding is you're not allowed to add
it's been supposed to be
additional.
a contract. I
Well,
thought they told me.
And I can tell you from meeting one of the contractors, and having a conversation with SED in response to that contract, who said they could make a conversion to a system that can work for that. They can make that proposal, doesn't mean it's gonna be approved by SED. So they had a belief that they could convince SED.
What if they've done it in other school districts? Here's some of the school districts that these were done in. Comstock, East Islip, Valley Stream 30, 13, and 24, Long Beach, Sayville, Hicksville. Sayville. Don't you
So
know,
what
I know
they
Freeport,
may be able
Mineola.
to do,
I'm plenty friends in Sable.
they may be able to do it in conjunction with the capital project where the unit is actually replaced and the capital project goes to the spoil. I don't know if you can have two funding streams for one piece of equipment. But my understanding has always been that we're not allowed to increase your electric bill in energy performance. I'll also tell you that the cost savings on a unit ventilator are very, very, very low. So you have to justify the savings.
I was told that the air conditioning would never pay for itself. That was abundantly clear. However,
Yes, I was just gonna touch on
yes,
that.
it will never pay for itself. However, it's in the best interest of the kids.
And
If
it's
you're weighing
not,
it that way,
it has
then
nothing
it
to
pays
do
for
with
itself times 10, in my
energy
opinion.
performance does not care about the best interest of children.
No, I'm talking about my opinion.
I hear you, but my
So-
point is, that's not the way the energy performance works. It
But the
has-
energy performance contract will still make its money back in the 18 years.
That's what I'm trying to say. You have to have an initiative within the energy performance that saves greater than cost, so it can be applied to something else within.
Right. But it can work in conjunction with the bond. So
That's
that,
two separate conversations, but yes.
right,
but
so
I
that
don't
we
think-
get the best bang for our buck.
And you can address as much equipment as possible as needs to be done.
We also need to
Most-
address our ADA compliance. I mean, there's some of it on here, but there's a lot more that we need to do, the doors.
So ADA compliance is a whole different conversation.
But
All
all
of our
will be part of the
buildings,
bond.
all of our buildings are ADA compliant.
That's not true, you can't open some of those doors.
They don't have to. They're grandfathered in. Every single one of these buildings are ADA compliant. That is absolutely unequivocally true.
So you're telling me my husband, like, he was in his wheelchair, if he couldn't get in that door, there's nothing we can do about that?
You can do stuff, but you're not, but if you're talking about compliance versus design. It is absolutely, and this is a conversation that I've had point blank with the architect.
We talked about this.
So, that's not to say that it's not the right thing to do, but there still needs to be the additional conversation that goes with it, whether it be, how do you man it, how do you secure it, how do you, deal with the 24/7 and everything else. But those are different conversations. To say that we're not in compliance,
It's not to be done, that we can bring it up. That's what
okay,
said.
I thought you said there would be a compliance issue.
Well, I used the wrong terminology, I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's ADA issues, door compliance act.
There's
So those
always
are things that
ways,
can be added to this bond as well.
there's always ways to improve it.
Right.
Absolutely.
Fix it for the kids,
And the entire community as a whole. Absolutely.
as a whole, correct. So what are we doing?
All right, so what do you mean?
January 8th.
Well, no, I wanted to, if people are adding to the bonds,
No, we're gonna talk about that on January 8th, I thought.
so they were not voting on anything January 8th.
Whoa. Whatever anyone wants goes to John before January 8th. John, you're gonna put it together, you're gonna send us all the ins and outs. We're voting on it January, end of story. We can't do this in this community anymore, we just can't do it. I've been doing this for 20 years. You need bonds, you put out.
So can I ask
It costs,
that,
no, it doesn't even cost the taxpayers any additional money.
So then what is the truth, Eileen? Because apparently
Violet,
you
all right,
know
I'll
the truth.
explain it this way, so maybe we can get it.
Okay, cut it off.
Everything costs something. So let's explain it this way. First of all, I wanted to talk about how a bond, we're gonna stay at the $9 million, and instead of being paid off in 10 years, now we extend it out for however many years, another 20 years. That's still a payment. That's like saying, I'm not gonna pay off my mortgage, I'm gonna refinance it, I'm still have the same payment, but now I gotta pay for another 20 years. It still costs
So
you money.
that's where
I'm
the
not
place
finished,
no-
I'm not finished, I'm
So
not
that's
finished.
where the place no additional
Can I
cost.
finish? So there is an additional cost because it continues on down the road. Also, you pay bond counsel. Don't we pay bond counsel? We pay them. We pay John Grillo. There's a whole bunch of fees associated with this and interest. We pay that too. That's all added in. So don't say that it doesn't cost
Sharon, how much
anything.
does
It
it
just keeps the budget the same. Please let me finish, Lee. It just keeps the budget line the same for a longer period of time. Am I correct?
Well, I went over that with Linda.
Can I don't know, Sharon, can you respond to that? What is it? Coming out of the taxpayer's pocket after this additional cost?
I just said keep
I'm
the
asking
budget
Sharon.
line the same for an extended amount of
I'm
time.
asking
So
Sharon.
instead of being paid off here, it's now paid off all the way down there.
You're still borrowing money. I asked Linda.
I'm
about
asking
this.
Sharon, why is it so hard
That's
for,
fine, you can, Sharon.
she handles this?
It can seem smart to have no debt. It's just not
It's not done.
smart.
It's not done that way.
Not
And
smart.
we need to fix ourselves.
We need
I
to
get that.
leverage our long-term debt.
That's not what I'm saying.
Excuse me,
Are
Eileen.
saying.
So while you're saving,
Can you let it finish?
so while you may be saving,
Don't chastise me, please. I'm not your child, I already told you that. I'm not your husband,
You
so
learn respect.
No, I don't respect me.
I've been on the phone with you.
Yeah, I know, well,
Sharon,
let's not go there.
Sharon.
so while it may seem to be smart to reduce your cost to zero, it actually isn't smart because repairs will come up if you don't keep up with the buildings. You're not going to want to send your kids here, it's not going to look nice, people aren't going to want to live here, and more important financially, for the dollars that the district spends when it's a capital project, for every dollar that's spent, we get $66, 67 if you round off, 67 cents back. If you wait thinking you're being frugal by not spending money, you have to do repairs down the road. And you're gonna spend $1 and get no aid on that. So the thing you try to do is to keep your debt constant. You try to keep your tax levy constant, you try to keep your debt constant. It's all like a delicate balancing act to try to keep your state aid matched to the building component of state aid matched to your debt service. It's just not that simple.
Thank you, that's what I thought.
It's the same thing I just said, she just said it in different words.
I
We're
agree with
still
what you
spending
said.
the
We're not
money.
saying what
We're
we're trying
saying-
to do is still spend your money smart.
Smart,
That's
I'm not
good.
saying not to spend it, just don't say that it doesn't cost anything because it does. It just keeps the budget line the same.
Okay, I'm just gonna say that not spending anything also costs money.
I'm
Yeah.
not, I didn't say to not do that. I never said to not do that.
I know, I
Sharon,
just
doesn't that
want
have it cost more money?
would it cost more money?
You have to spend money.
It will because of that building aid ratio.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, there is what it's
So
been
what are we
said the
saying,
whole
spend
time.
100 million? I don't understand. Let me understand this. You tell me we should make the bottom line.
She never said that.
I got a few things I can add on.
She didn't
She
say
never
that.
said that.
What are we saying
She's
then?
just explaining.
Oh.
That's all.
So
I'm-
the idea is, no, the idea is to spend the money smart. That's all I'm
Okay,
saying.
well, what was
So why we keep going
Neither
back
of
to
those
this?
arguments support spending the money not smartly. To not bond or to bond. Nobody said to spend stupidly.
Well, that's why I was trying to bring up some point that thought was not worth spending money on.
Right.
That we should maybe think about putting something else in, which is what we finally said we'll do till January 8th, which is, thank God we reached, but people don't want to hear that.
But
when they
what
hear
I
it.
don't understand is that up until now, the last 3 or 4 meetings,
Because
Okay.
I'm educating myself. I've been talking to John Allen. I don't even know how many times. John, how much have I talked to you?
yeah, but all this educating, we have not moved forward.
What does that mean? Did
Why
you
do we
hear-
have to rush it?
What?
Why are you trying to rush
It's not even a rush,
I
we
want a
haven't
business.
even-
rushing it. Let us do
What do
it
you want me
right.
to do?
we-
No,
You know
I
what?
want to know what you want me to
You
do.
know what? I have a business,
I
I have
just-
this, I have that.
I
I mean,
just
I'm
got
not
done-
gonna get into my personal life, but I
But
have.
you're asking me, my sister was in the hospital. I spoke to him about a dozen times. What do you want people to do? Mylin, I can't drop on you a dime. What do you want?
You know what?
You want to see it? Here's the funeral I was just at too. Here you go. Here's the card. What do you want?
I'm not gonna share my personal.
But I know, I
business.
don't. What I'm trying to say to you
But
is,
you know what? My
I'm
personal
asking for a
business
little more
doesn't,
time.
my personal business doesn't come to this table.
It doesn't. You were just
No.
sitting there telling Eileen
What?
about your home life.
What was I telling about my home
My
life?
husband doesn't disrespect me. We're getting out of control again.
Cause she brought it up.
What I'm
Nobody
trying to say to you is,
disrespects me.
I asked for a little more time on something. That's all I asked for.
And the last
And you
3 or
wanna
4
know
meetings
why?
have been a little bit more
Why?
time.
Why?
And it would be more
You're
productive.
asking me why.
And it would be more productive if you were saying, okay, I need a little more time for what? All I keep hearing
And I
is,
keep saying what?
What is
You're
it?
not,
What is it,
I'm
Mark?
looking into the libraries, there's things I gotta look into.
All right, so,
It takes
and then
time.
when we said we would take off the libraries, he's like, no, I don't wanna do that. So I'm trying to- I'm trying to
I
take this
said, I didn't say I wanted to do that. I said I need to look into it. I haven't looked. I waited for some stuff. You're not listening because you're so,
Because you want it done today, and Mark wants you to just wait so he can do his due diligence. That's the problem. It has to be done right now, or not at all. That's what that's what I'm hearing
So
today.
then why wasn't last meeting productive? What do you have, what do you
This
have?
meeting's not productive.
Exactly, why?
hold on,
Because you want it done right now,
I
and you
was
won't
just
let
sitting there
anybody do
making
their
a
due
list to
diligence.
minus things off
If
the
you ask me a
bond.
question, then you
I was
should
making a
answer.
list to take things off the bonds, and all
No,
of a
Eileen, that's
sudden,
not what everybody wants to do, though.
so you're asking for a compromise, I was actually, okay, take off the elementary libraries. I fought for it, you guys don't seem, you what?
I never said I didn't want to.
You were just saying, do it, you are so adamant, it's, do it now, do it this way, take this, it's all has to be done the way you want it
keep saying
done,
the same
instead of
thing.
letting people just
Ask the
do their
public.
due diligence.
Ask the public. You're gonna tell me you looked at this thing over and over again and say, I didn't do anything wrong.
Well, this meeting, yeah, I got a little, because I'm a little frustrated that again, we're
Violet,
coming to,
I
I need
keep
more
telling
time,
you.
I need more time.
This
And
is-
it's-
Why are you rushing something so large? If we take a little more time and we do it right, why is that a problem? Can you
You know,
explain that to me?
did you know that East
Explain why that's a
Iceland,
problem. No, just
East
answer the
Iceland
question.
had 6 times
You're
for
not
a $50
answering the
million
question,
bond.
Mylin. You're not answering the question. Explain why taking a little more time to make sure that we do it right is a problem. Can you just
So
tell me that?
then, what we've been doing from July to now has been what?
I told you you made
Learning.
some mistakes.
Learning.
And you made a lot of.
So from July till
Investigating,
now,
doing my due diligence. So why is
all right,
taking
so
2
from
more
July
weeks?
till now, you were doing your due diligence.
That's right.
So then why is it that still today, there's no conclusion what you want to take off the bond? or
Because we
anything?
didn't get all the
I have a
answers.
conclusion. I
So
gave
what
you a whole bunch
answers?
of things.
What answers?
I told you
What
my
answers?
things.
No, what answers? What
Mylin,
answers?
why does it have to be done right
What,
now?
what answers? What
I said I want it
answers?
done in May.
What
I
answers?
want it done in May with the budget vote.
Happening?
Not happening, see?
Oh,
Not
no.
happening. Is that what you just said to me?
No,
Not happening?
That's my opinion, not happening.
Why?
I'm one person.
Why?
I don't trust you, because next month you're gonna change again, and the month after you're gonna change. I don't trust that.
What don't you trust?
What don't you
Said it.
trust?
I don't trust
I'm
that.
saying it right out of.
Don't-
in
I
the
will,
open.
I want the budget to
It's
pass.
on
I
tape.
want everything
What don't
to
you
pass.
trust?
I'll go on record saying that. I want this bond
I
to
want
go
it done in
through.
May with the budget with
I don't know
everybody
what
else.
you
I
mean
don't
by-
wanna spend an extra $40,000 on a separate vote.
So you
So
will,
if the budget goes down, then we gotta spend $40,000 to put the budget back up, and additional
I
So
don't
May, if it
$40,000.
doesn't go down and we spend $40,000 in February, and then we spend $40,000 in May, it's still $80,000, right?
It's still a gamble.
So it's a gamble either way. So now you spend
No.
40,000 and 40,000.
No.
No matter what you're spending, your way you're spending 80,000 no matter what. My
You're
way it's a
spending
gamble is
60,000.
what you're saying.
Have you had some public disaster?
It's a gamble the other
I'm gonna
way.
give up.
It's a gamble. You said January 8th,
I did.
anything you want off the budget, off the bond, you should get before January 8th. Final decision. You know, we've been doing this now for weeks and months.
I'm gonna,
I don't
I'm
want
telling you
this,
right
I don't
now,
want this,
I'm
I
gonna
don't
vote
want
no if
this, I
it's
don't
not
want
done in May. That's all I want.
That's all she
You wanna
wants.
do everything else? No, there's other things that I think should be added to the bonds, but I'll leave that go. I'll leave everything go, but it should be done in May. Don't do that to the public.
I'm not
Should be done
doing
in May
anything
and one
wrong
vote.
to the public. Anyway, I've been doing this too long to play
I know, maybe too long, you're right, too long.
so you're saying you have no issue with the bond, and the only issue you have is putting on for a May vote. So if everything in its entirety goes on to a May vote, you have no issue with that?
I'll do that if that's what it takes.
All right, I'm willing to take a chance. I'll put it for May.
Holy cow.
I'll do it for May.
So we can't
This is
change it.
amazing.
Nope, the
This is
bond
amazing.
stays.
They'll change it, no.
No, we're
this is
voting on
amazing.
tonight.
That's just
This
me.
is
I
what I
can't speak
wanted
for law.
to do with you guys.
All right, so then we'll keep the bond as a whole and vote in May. I'm good
Now,
with that.
what the heck just happened?
Doing the whole vote.
Why can't we,
We're doing the whole bond,
46,
voting
why
in
can't we
May.
just, can I really just look at it January?
Yes,
Please.
yes.
Wait, what you said.
Are you serious?
I'm serious, John and I spoke about some of these things.
Take the things off.
There's certain things that I think were
So
not
then why, so how
necessary.
about this? You want to take off the pages now and what
No,
else?
take off the plate.
Take it off.
Enough.
And
I'm
I
sorry.
wanna look into the library. Listen,
Let
I
him
look,
look.
Dean,
Christ's sakes.
Dean.
I was willing to put it all together and vote on
Steve
May.
here,
And I'm still okay with that, Mylan. But let him look till, in May.
Dean, did I or did I not say to you, I'm leaning towards getting the libraries, I just want to do some more work and make sure I understand, I respect your opinion about the future and what you have in mind. But I still want to go ask teachers what they think, and if I get a bad vibe, I said, I need to do this. This is just my way of saying I want to look into something. Did I or did I not say that to you?
Last week, you said that you were in favor of the elementary library.
Yeah, and what the hell, I said, but what I want to do, I said, I want to make sure we're not wasting money. I said, you have to understand my point of view.
So we're wasting money on libraries?
Wait, no, I don't want to go there, okay.
That's
Well, let's just, can we just
We're
stop?
spending $8 million on something we may not use.
Can we just stop?
That's what I'm saying.
Mark,
Okay, I'm fine,
you have
January 8th.
things- you're gonna have a list for him?
Yep.
January 8th.
Oh, wait, now we're doing a list?
The list of things that he mentioned that would make
So
sense.
it's either what Eileen wants or what Mark wants, is that what you're saying,
I
Mylan?
just said that I said you like the whole bond and we'll go with May. I agree with you.
I said that, Mark said he wanted
I
something
agree,
else.
I agree with you. I
Okay,
said May.
okay.
Well, I want to
So,
go.
but Mark,
Let Mark do his due diligence. Share it with John, because what Mark told me made sense. Things that you know.
You guys want,
I
I'll tell
agree
you
with
what.
some of those things
I'll tell
too.
you what. Just take off the things we spoke about. Do it in May, and let's get both yes.
All right,
Well,
Let's
I
go.
want to do it.
Let's go.
Why
Let's go, let's end this.
January?
Let's go. Now everybody happy, let's do it. Just make everybody happy, yes? You just agreed to that, Mylan? You just said it? Let's go.
Wait, so what are you taking off?
we need
Lee said the things were taken off. Lee already said it. Let's just go
the
forward.
building, the
January.
I don't want to, I
library.
cannot lose sleep over this anymore.
Listen, I wanted to settle this sooner than this.
Let's do this.
January 8th is the
So
date.
No, we said.
No,
it's gonna take
I'll
that.
do what
No,
Mylan
we're
said.
taking off the libraries, the
I'll do
buildings,
it by, no,
the
leave
bleachers.
leave the libraries on. Just take off the things that were a total waste of money that we
So what
already
is, so
discussed.
then what is it?
And do the thing in
Oh,
May.
No, no, we need it, it's gotta go on record,
You're
what's
making
the
a real
list?
decision now.
No, I just don't want it.
All right, so then we're going, so what?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right, so then what are you taking off?
John knows.
What is it, John?
I need that in front of me. I wanna make sure that you need that in front of you. Wait till
I have it
January.
right here.
Get it in front of me with the
You
new
wanna go
revised
through this
list.
again? Public, do you want to go through this again?
It's not gonna be a discussion next time, it's just gonna be a vote, right? John's gonna update the list with those things, John.
In a resolution,
If it
say
doesn't
we
change
can't
what
change
she
our
just
mind.
said, it doesn't change.
Can we do that?
If it doesn't change what
No,
Sharon
you don't
said,
want me to.
I'm okay with it. It's not changing our taxes. Okay?
Because it's
So I'm okay with it as long as it doesn't affect.
I would like it in writing,
You
so that it's done
understand And she's saying that.
because I don't trust that Lee's gonna follow it. I'll say that. I would like it all in writing, get it all ready for us for January 8th, and we'll vote on it in its entirety then. So, yeah, I don't know what that means, it's a side conversation.
So the motion is to table to January 8th.
I thought we just gonna vote on it.
No, because I wanna see the list, I wanna see the list, I want to see the list, I don't wanna use just willy-nilly and then say, somebody said, no, I told you the bleachers, and this one says, no, you didn't see the bleachers, I want a
make
list.
everybody happy and not even be a kid. But whatever you want to do. Mylan, it's your show, whatever you want to do. But you guys tell me now.
I just want a list of what's gonna be on the bonds, and then I'm ready to vote for it.
So do you want to make a motion to have the bond referendum vote in May, and then also make another, motion to table this until January 8th? Bond? Do you want two?
I'm willing to do whatever they want to do.
You know what I mean? Like,
I'm not sure what that.
She's saying, do you want to table it to
You have to do
January?
two
table
separate,
to Jan.
just table it to January, and in January, it should be.
No, we're not going to change it. Lee, I give you, Lee,
Yeah?
I want to go forward. For this district, I want to go forward.
No, I believe some of the things that you said should be taken off, should be taken off.
I'm telling you right now, I am not going to change it. If you guys are okay with what she just said, by the way,
Yeah, but
and we had a conversation about it too, and I was trying to make it
I
so
wanted it in
everybody.
writing, I wanted January 8th.
Let's do it,
I wanted
please.
in writing. I'm not-
We all want what's best for the kids. We all know the bond should be there. Hello? We're all going to push for it to pass.
I leave to how many people that he spoke with, I don't even know what part
part of the bond they're against.
No, I'm gonna go around, I'm gonna sell, I'm gonna tell people this is what we need for the district.
We're talking about the whole entire?
No, we're taking off the, like, about, it was like 10%,
So when you
5
come back,
million.
come back with that list,
It was like 5
Of
million
what's
we were
taken
taking
off?
off.
I need the list.
Like what?
I'll go,
Like
yeah.
what? You have to be specific.
well, we went over, we
we're
started
gonna go over
going
in January, so
So-
make a new list. We're gonna go over in
The
January
auditorium,
with
the
the new
single
list,
wall.
and we'll vote in January, is that
You don't
right?
realize how many times
we just
before
do that?
you just
So
did
it's
vote
been
on it
taken
now,
off
wait
10%
until
of the
January,
thing.
take
So we
the
talked
whole
about the
thing.
bleachers.
I know.
Yes, I don't know what you talked about, I didn't talk about any
We're
of
gonna
that.
tell
So the
John to change
bleachers-
it, we're voting on it.
I know the bleachers, I just want to get understanding, so it's the bleachers, what else?
Yeah, I'll go over it, I promise you, I'm not gonna say one thing, I have it written down.
All right, so
You'll vote until I get it back.
Ready?
Yeah, the bleachers,
Bleachers, auditorium,
auditorium.
Sycamore.
Is there gonna be a press box?
Yes, we're doing this, we have to. I know we have to, I went over this with John. This isn't
Okay,
something I
so
didn't do.
Sycamore, all right, Sycamore Elementary, go ahead. So bleachers, Sycamore Elementary, auditorium.
Bleachers, oh, the maintenance building,
Maintenance building.
the 2.4 million.
I'm not sure if I agree with city block renovation.
Even since Stu Hollis said it, he was me. No, I went around talking, I didn't do this, I'm not making
I know
this
you
stuff
told me that
up.
before, I still have,
I'm not making this up.
I still have.
Call him on the phone, I have all my numbers.
Okay, maintenance building, go ahead.
Remove the loading docks.
Oh, okay. What else?
Reduce heating and ventilation. It will be a mess.
So you said we're doing that, we have a mold problem over there, why would we?
He said we have enough to cover it.
So the old bond will cover it?
It's not gonna cover all of it, that's why we're not reducing it. We can't.
I said reduce it, yes. I said-
So we're reducing.
Yeah, half
Oh,
a million.
reduce.
Said about a half a million.
Okay, so reducing.
About a half a million. You can write down everything. This isn't something I did over, I've worked my butt off.
Okay, so reducing the ventilation, go ahead.
Expanded parking lots.
Okay, Cherokee.
We don't need them. He said, we're living like this, it's almost like opening up the things for the high
Okay,
school.
so expanded parking lot in Cherokee, go ahead.
John, what's that add up to? Okay, what's it add up
We
to?
just have that all ready for January 8th, this meeting is getting very long.
The only.
I have a life, I would like to go back to.
I'm done.
So, John, so that we took about roughly 10% off?
5 million.
Yeah, took about $5 million
I have to go
off.
back and look at the numbers.
I'll tell you right now, 2.4 million on the maintenance. Half a million on the Sycamore. 620 on bleachers. The docks are half a million. Yeah. Heating and ventilation a half a million. Expanded parking lot 440.
So how much is all that?
Additional parking was 277. I have site drainage. We're not gonna do the site drainage in Cherokee?
There's two different pieces to it.
Yeah.
That's why I had to go back.
I know, the site
So
drainage
can we
is the
just
worst.
get that
Expanded
together
parking
for
lot,
January,
440.
it has to work
No,
right
you
now.
said there's only one vote January, but I
Okay.
just want to know that.
Well, we'll get it,
Yeah,
can we get it sent to us beforehand so we can look it over?
but it's supposed to be a public discussion,
It
so.
will be, we don't discuss it, I just wanna look it over.
Right.
Right before January, and then we'll discuss it in public and public.
All right, so John, if we're taking off all these items, which is
So
approximately
it's
about 10%
277.
of the bond.
It's fine. I just want to go through this.
All right, so it's 10% of the bond. Can you get a price? Can you get a price for whatever Eileen wanted to add on? And can you get a price on for science lab?
No, we're not, the whole idea was to reduce it to 5 million.
She said she wanted things added on.
I said I won't do that.
No,
I said
let's not
that's
add.
it. I said
I
that's
just
it.
said to the public, let's not add.
You don't want to work in conjunction with the energy performance contract, I
It's
said
not
I'm
that,
good.
we're gonna sit here and say we don't want, I want Firstfield more than anything, but I wanna make everybody happy. We're good.
Isn't
Come
science?
on, Eileen,
is
Mylan,
that science?
Mylan, we're good.
Mylan, I said I'm good.
We're good.
So then why can't we vote on this today? So you take all these things?
Because I want it all in
Yes,
writing,
they get
I
it
want a
right, check
resolution
everything.
written up the proper way, and then I'll vote on the proper resolution in January.
What's the difference? We're all
The first
agreeing
one.
on it and we're saying it's gonna be in
As
May.
long as it's in proper form and it's done in May, I'm
I'll
good, I
even
will
vote
vote
on
on it in May. I'm on tape, I will vote yes in May if it's done in the proper, January. done in the proper way.
Well, I said I would take the whole bond as a May, but now, so they take off all these items.
But
You
Lee
still-
says they're smart decisions, so.
And I agree.
I know the bleachers, I don't know about the parking lot, I don't know.
Well, that's what me and John talked about, so
I don't know.
I think he knows his stuff.
What came up in the committee,
Well, I didn't want to do that.
what came up, what came up in the committee was, on a regular school day up in Cherokee, there are less than a dozen parking spots. So we walked the building, we looked at it, we looked at the location of the parking lot, and an area that's immediately next to it, and John Grillo worked up the prices to know the cost. Once we had that price, we brought it back to the committee felt it was worth forwarding to the board for consideration.
Well, you know, the same thing happened actually here in one of the bonds, the central office. There's actually no parking out there. And there was a problem, there were parking over there by the library.
Listen,
So
the
they, wait,
parking's
wait,
on.
look, I'm finished. So that was part of the bond, and now we have it, and it is utilized, and it is crowded. So what we think as novices, wait,
I'm agreeing with you, so
what we
let's,
see as novices, not necessarily wrong, but is the right thing to do. Because here's an example of that. Another example I'll say is Oakdale and Bohemian Middle School. Egress and in and out.
I'm agreeing with you, Lee, I'm agreeing, so
So-
let John look into that a little bit more, and if that has to stay on, it's only 270, I was wrong, that's Linda showed me the figure.
Don't ask me to
No,
look
Linda
into it.
showed me the
I
figure,
cannot-
correct, Linda?
Yes,
So,
277 is the
if we
digital
had, if
ID.
it's something we need to add, 270,000, let's just move forward, because it's something that he thinks.
Please, please
Can
do
you
not
just
put
get
it,
me
do
the-
not put it on me.
Just get me
No,
the
all right,
I
revised
appreciate that,
list.
but do not put
Can
it
you
on me.
just
I
get
respect your
the
opinion.
revised list, that's what I want to say.
All right, so we now, wait, so we're putting
So that's
Cherokee
late.
on or off?
We're gonna wait on that, that's the only thing we're not sure about. But if it's something we need, have to do, we'll do it.
Right, because a lot of things that we don't see.
That's the only thing, really. The other things is stuff that, ice,
What is the maintenance?
that's the extra building we're adding, which we have plenty of buildings. It's an extra building we're adding outside of the, school bus territory, if I'm not mistaken. In the transportation, listen, I've done everything, I know what I'm talking about. We don't need to build another building, when we already have John Pearl and our numbers going down a little bit. We don't need other buildings, we gotta support it, maintenance, electric, the whole thing.
I know, I'm feeling that way about the toilets out there too, in the baseball field. With the football field.
If you wanna go down more, and you think toilets are not
I'm with
necessary.
Lee on, you don't want the building for the toilets? I'm with you there, Lee.
You know, but,
See, look at that, we agree.
We could have done this from the beginning.
That's what I've been trying to tell you guys to get to, you just don't want
Well,
to.
everybody's yelling at everybody, can't get there.
yeah, but the problem is, I don't, you know, I'm not the grandmother who goes out in those fields. That has to go to the bathroom.
All right, then I know it.
And the library that goes at the little kids' room. You know, I mean, Don says, use them outside, to keep people from going inside, am I correct, Don? I mean, it's a big thing.
Don't we have porta potties out there?
You use porta potties?
I absolutely will not use a porta potty.
Guys do, the guys do.
The boys can go pee in the porta potty.
So he thinks, no, see, here's just a pure example, I think it's silly, you know, walk with, you know, our securities.
There's another piece during the day. Every time a phys ed class is outside, the child needs to go to the bathroom. They're going to go back inside the building, so we compromise the envelope of the building. And that leads to the doors being open.
Kids don't use the porta potty?
I'm sorry?
No.
The young ladies prefer not to.
I don't believe it.
So see, now here's an example of we saying, we don't need them, because I don't think we need
So
them.
we can
We don't
start,
need them
But the
because we don't use them.
reality, listening to Don,
so we
I
can,
know my grandparents use the fields.
so we can still talk about something. Let's move forward, we have to jump.
They need to look at other districts and night football games and visitors from all over creation coming into our buildings.
So my personal opinion is it actually nonsense,
I'm, okay,
based on what I'm hearing.
but he
from-
just told you
wait,
why we need it.
Based on, no, I've heard, based on what I'm hearing from our administration, my opinion means nothing. My personal opinion means nothing. I have to respect what they're telling me.
Which is what Mark is telling
Which
you.
is what I've done, that's what I'm trying to say.
And
I've gone out to everybody, Lee. It's not like I haven't, I've done my homework on this.
And the other piece
That's what
of,
Mark's been saying all night.
and the other piece of it too is, as far as, so we're gonna rationalize things. The reason why the auditorium at the Sycamore was added on to this is because the high school is gonna have a major renovation. The middle schools are gonna have a major renovation. So if the Sycamore was, tidied up, so to speak, upgraded just a little bit, Sycamore Elementary auditorium was going to be used in the process, so, because the high school will not be utilized.
It's $500,000.
Right, Lindy, it's phases.
Even the student, this.
Right, Johnny, it could be phases.
Yeah, but in the meantime, I gotta fix them.
We just had
No, it's not a thing, that's why it is that, so you can use your high school auditorium for a while until this is all going on. Well, I'm just saying, I don't know, I'm just asking about the high school, Sycamore auditorium, was it used as a plan while the other renovation auditoriums were going on?
So what do you say, we need to look into the auditorium more?
I would think so, because you're, just reading this, you're updating the infrastructure, which is very old.
So then you're giving your opinion, which you haven't even went to a professional, where I've actually asked the principal, and I've asked other people.
Can we just get a list
I've
and do
asked
this
people.
January 8th?
I've
It's
asked
already
people,
10 o'clock at
and
night.
now you're saying your opinion. So what is it?
And we
Is
have
it
a lot more to
your,
go
is it your opinion that counts, or it's not your?
Well, I have till January 8th to come up with my.
Okay, good, perfect, January 8th.
January,
No, you have
January.
before that, because we should get it before that to review, so that we can just vote on it,
Okay.
right?
No,
Don't
no
make anything
problem.
drastic.
Hey.
No
I
problem.
just want to clarify what I'm going to do. I'm going to take these items, and I'm going to provide the discussion and arguments to the best of my recollection from the facility committee, so that everybody has an understanding as to where these things came from and why.
No, I thought we were
I'm
just
not
taking them
sharing
off
the
and getting the new dollar amounts.
Well, but there was a conversation about the field house, and how there's a different perspective.
No, Lee's saying
Additional
no.
parking lot at Cherokee. I just want, listen, you can do with the information what you want, but all I can do is provide information. to this
I
board.
appreciate that, Ms. John.
There's no way I can provide a recommendation.
All right, well, then you gotta do it before the meeting, because I need to look it over.
I can
I'm
do these
gonna be
items
talking to
tomorrow.
the music teachers about the auditorium, not the spiritual. The music teachers don't know more about it.
All right, can we move on then?
All right, so we have a table, yes, all yes, for a
Yeah.
table January 8th?
Yep,
Okay, so what are the items that we have on here? The national,
the conference is there.
the two conferences, 19 and 20?
Yeah, I would like, first of all, I'd like to,
Wait, did we skip one?
Oh, 22.
What was that one?
accept three grievance.
Yeah,
We didn't have to pull that one, I vote yes on that.
to move it into
No,
arbitration.
No, why I want to hear what Eileen has to say.
Oh, sorry,
Are
sorry.
you voting yes to move it into
Well,
arbitration?
no, actually, I'm sorry, got
Is that what,
confused.
so, my thing with the CTA thing is it going into arbitration if we vote yes? Okay, so then I vote no.
We don't know that.
No, no.
So what is, that's my question then, what is that one? That's what I'm asking. What am I voting on here? Okay, I vote no, I'm not, we need to deny the grievance.
Okay, I vote no, I'm not denying the grievance.
I vote no.
I'm going along with the 3 years.
So it's not going to arbitration.
No, what you're gonna do is you're gonna pull two teachers together and hold it like it's, you're gonna switch
So,
the teachers back from one back.
I don't want to disagree with you.
Whoa. We're moving teachers back?
Accept the agreement.
I don't accept the grievance. I mean, I accept, the way it's worded is really weird, that's why I asked for clarification. I don't want this to go to arbitration. I'm tired of spending $25,000 on arbitration every single time. So that's my vote. Whatever says it's not going to arbitration, that's my vote.
Well, I thought we just went over this, and Linda,
Well,
you think it's a good
and
idea
first
to
of all,
set precedents?
First of all, this has to go.
That's my opinion, that's my opinion. I'm not spending any more money on arbitration.
Linda, is this?
I'm allowed to have that opinion.
We said it's
$25,000 each time.
We gotta set a precedent, so this way they don't.
This is a personnel issue.
Is something you said that we should.
Yes, if the board votes to uphold the grievance, it means that we violate the contract.
I'm.
If the board votes to deny the grievance, that
Vote
means
however you
that
want.
we did not violate the contract in this action that occurred.
wait, now let me educate
Who
us.
wins? And you know who
Educate
wins?
us.
The lawyer. So I'm not voting to
Educate
spend
us.
$25,000.
If this goes down, say, we vote the way Eileen suggested, and this costs the community a couple $100,000, that's all I need to know.
So there was, I don't know how far to go with having this explanation. There was a transfer request made for personnel reasons that we cannot share. If that person cannot be transferred back, oh, Linda, I can't, I'm sorry, I can't. It's a personnel issue. We have to go into executive session to have a discussion to revote.
I think it would cost just in the community.
You wanna table it?
We would probably have to hire an additional teacher.
You just want to table
So
it?
that's cost more than $20,000.
I don't see why you guys
You want to table it, or you just want to just?
Well, I'm just saying that.
If that's the case, then I would like to table it to get more information. That was the explanation.
You have to go to exec and then you have to come back out and vote.
No, I'm not doing that then. I'm voting to table it. Why can't we table it till next month? And then you can give me the information.
You're trying to address me.
According to the contract.
All right, well then let's just vote.
Go ahead, vote.
Whatever, I just said my vote.
You said that.
Whatever it does so that it doesn't cost taxpayers $25,000, I want, that's my vote. I don't know how the wording is, whether that's a yes vote or a no vote, because it's so
It's gonna cost,
convoluted, I don't
it's gonna cost
understand.
the taxpayer probably,
I'm going along with what Linda
Lee,
said.
that's my opinion, that's my vote.
Yeah, but
You
that-
vote the way you want to vote,
That's
how's
all.
that?
I agree with Linda, we need to set a precedent.
I don't want to spend money on grievances either and arbitrations.
The resolution is whether to uphold or deny a particular grievance. It's not at the arbitration stage. It's voting whether to
Right, but if we
forward
vote-
in arbitration.
But if we vote it, deny it, then it's gonna go to arbitration. Then that's the next step, correct?
Not necessarily. It doesn't automatically go to arbitration.
What happens then?
Fine.
Which they're gonna do, so I keep my vote away.
How do you know what the union's gonna
Because they
do?
do it all the time.
probably talk to them.
How do you know what
I
the
didn't
union-
talk to them, Lee, I don't call them either. You wanna see my phone?
How do you know what the union's gonna
That's all
do?
right.
It costs them money too, so how do you know they
Well,
won't
I
take it
know,
back
I know
on?
the last four that when I was in the bathroom and you guys voted for this group, three of them were supposed to be called and only one was, so I'm not leaving them, that's my vote. Why is that a problem? Why can't I have my vote?
That's all
It's my vote, I'm one vote, you guys do whatever you want, that's my vote. I don't wanna cost $25,000 to the district.
42,000. So it costs us $60,000, you have to hire a new teacher. 60, that goes every year. What about the medical and all that stuff? Is that it?
Why are you saying we would have to hire a new teacher?
Because this was a personnel issue. And if we discussed what happened, what transpired in the executive session.
Right, I know that, okay.
So,
If you revert back.
and I don't know that it's possible to revert back because of the way the request was made.
And that's $90,000 that
It can't be reverted back, exactly.
versus $25,000 for one
That's
time.
not a definitive answer, I don't know if it can be done that.
No, it can't be reverted back. It's adding on a person.
Who said that?
Because think about it. We're not getting into too much detail.
I don't even want to discuss it, just vote.
It's adding on a teacher. If you give it a second to think about it, it's adding on a teacher.
Well, you'll explain it to you later, so I don't understand what that means, or why it would be that way. Just vote, what's the big deal?
I kind of want to vote with you, even though I care about the district too much, just to prove a point, but no, I can't. So I'm going to vote the right way.
Okay, you vote your right way and I'll vote my right way, perfect.
Everybody's allowed their opinion, nobody's gonna get mad.
This is not an opinion. This is
What
a-
you
It is my
This is a
opinion, that is
financial-
my
This is
opinion.
a financial opinion. This is financial, this is the person that doesn't want to spend $40,000 on a vote, but will spend $90,000 because for some strange reason. That doesn't
Why are
make
you going
sense.
back to?
I don't know why, everything I say is an argument. Why can't I just have my vote? I'm a board member, we're allowed to have a
Well,
vote.
I'm just telling you.
All right, well, thank you for telling me.
$40,000.
Thank you
want to
for
say
telling me.
$40,000.
Thank you for telling me.
Amazing.
I appreciate it, thank you. No, I don't need your vote. I'm good.
$40,000.
Good. I got it, I got it,
I got it
I
too.
got it, I got it.
$40,000.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to spend, but she'll spend $90,000 because we have to hire
That
another
may not
teacher.
happen, she
Where's
just
the
said.
logic?
How are we gonna know if that happens?
Where's the
Where's
logic?
your vote?
Mark? Where is
Why are
the
you
logic?
trying to change my vote? Why are you trying
I'm
to change my
going along
vote?
with
My vote
administration
is
says
different
on
than
this.
your
I
vote.
think Linda's
Don't try to
correct.
change my vote, you do that,
She
do
thinks-
your vote,
I'm
do
not trying
your
to-
vote, worry about your vote.
All right, so Linda, voting yes is going forward.
Voting yes.
There you go, so my
Okay.
vote doesn't matter, does it, Lee?
Voting yes goes forward.
There you go.
Oh, it does matter.
It didn't matter.
It does.
All in
didn't.
favor?
It showed a precedent.
Good.
All right, so
My
Mark, are
precedent
you a
is I don't
yes?
wanna spend $25,000. Why you got a
I am
problem, Lee?
agreeing with Linda on this.
Okay, so Linda is saying yes.
Okay.
Taking the advice, it's not that much of a difference. I feel like if she knows what she's doing, she's absolutely
Perfect.
independent. I'm okay with it. Thank you.
Okay, so 3 yes, 1 no.
See, and I'm not mad at any of you for that vote, Lee.
All
I
right,
know
moving
you're not,
on.
because you know the right thing to do. You did it
The
for
right thing-
political reasons.
Political
sorry.
reasons, what? You think I wanna be up
All
here?
right, can we move on to the next one, please?
Political reasons, the union didn't back me, Lee.
Can we
I
move
think
on?
that's you.
Can we move on to item 21, which is the New York State School Board Association 2019 Capital Conference?
I vote yes, we should all go.
Mark,
We need a motion.
I need a motion.
Motion,
What's this for?
the conference, one of the conferences.
I think we should only be able to go to the conference if we want to, yes.
So you make the second. So
Make
now
a second,
we're
so
all in
now it's all
favor?
in favor.
Aye.
I'm gonna go back, because if these trips cost money and we're actually talking about kids and how they're gonna fund their trips, it made me think about that. So, I mean,
What is that, what is funding the kids' trips that
because you
have
made
to do
me
with the
think about
conference?
it, like, you know, because you said 6,000, I mean, these two things are gonna be like $6,000, and I just thought about it.
So,
We have kids that-
so that means you wanna take out, you wanna take the Board of Ed money and put it into
It's
giving
not
the
what
kids
event
money?
money, we have to transfer money in. If there is no money, there's
There's
no
no
money.
money, there's no money there, it's a
Well, she's
transfer.
talking about this like apples and oranges, so I'm
No,
just
I don't
curious,
know.
I wanted to know the answers.
So, I mean,
Editing, looking into the libraries.
I think next year, maybe we should transfer money and put it in our code if we want to do something like that.
yeah, I don't
But
know.
I don't
if
think transferring
I don't
money
want to
in
transfer money, I'm gonna say no.
and.
Is that the NYB, is that the national one?
I'm saying no to vote.
It's a
No, the
national,
NISBA one doesn't
You're
cost
voting on
anything, you know
21
that,
right
right?
now. It's the School
21.
Boards Association Capital
the
Conference.
NISBA we have to do.
The NISBA doesn't the NISBA is, there's no cost except for travel. There's not a cost for the conference itself, just letting you know that. That's the law conference.
The new board members that come in,
The new board members can't go learn things.
that's a good thing, I think.
That's great, that's good to know. Only the veteran board members who have been here 20 years.
I mean, I'm only going by what Linda said. Linda said it's a great tool for every
And
fall.
Linda told us that we should all go.
There's no money in the budget for it, so that's,
No budget.
there's no money in the budget for, these two items, 20 and 21?
They're not budgeted in travel.
Oh, so I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
So that's 21.
Correct,
Because we didn't
Moving
vote on
forward
20.
though, can I
That's
make a
21.
recommendation?
Yeah,
Mr.
then
Butler?
vote. So
Put the
then
money in the budget.
Please
money
make
in the
sure,
budget.
Mary Jane, the money's in the budget because I.
That's
That's
why
Sharon.
Going forward,
Yeah,
I do the budget.
We vote on it.
Yes, in the
I
1920
do
budget.
right here.
Okay, so that was 21.
All right,
Do we have a full
20.
vote for
No,
that
I
at this
told
point?
you that was gonna happen.
And 20, we need a motion and a second for 20.
Motion,
I already told you. That's why that's what.
I need a motion and a second for 20.
I didn't know what 20 is.
It's the National School Board Association Conference in Philadelphia.
Yes.
Mark,
We need a motion and a second.
motion,
I second.
All in favor?
no.
No.
Yes.
There's no reason to vote.
Okay, so I think now we go on to item number 3, was the BOSIS multi-year projects.
Right.
I say, no motion. Lead second.
Second.
What's this for?
No, I think Eileen is the motion.
I pulled it because I wanted to vote separate.
Okay, so I say yes.
The votes will be, I say no.
Mark? Mark?
Can you tell me exactly what
It's
it is?
Chromebooks.
It's the smart boards to finish out all the classrooms that don't have smart boards. And it's Chromebooks to have classroom sets for students to utilize technology in our classrooms.
How much are we spending?
$847,000,
It's $200,000 a year,
right, for 6 years, so over $800,000.
5 years.
Do you pay
It
up
says
front?
6 year on the thing, I thought.
It's actually a finance plan. So
Right, so
you
they get the
all the
interest too.
equipment up front and the kids get to
Can I
use it for
table it
5
to look
years.
into it a little bit more and ask some teachers and see what they think about it a little bit more? Is this something that I have to do right now?
Can you explain what it's all about?
So we have been funding our technology plan using multi-year purchase plans for the past 4 years. This has enabled us to move into the 21st century in all of our instructional spaces, all of our classrooms. The next phase, with consultation from our technology committee, which is made up of our teachers and administrators, the recommendation was to move towards having Chromebooks for our students to use, access information, and to enhance their learning in the classroom.
So this is the final phase of rollout of the smart boards in the classroom, and phase 2 or 3, part of getting individualized academic tools, technology tools in the hands of students.
To be honest with you, I really don't know too much about it. I mean, I'm trying to pull off.
Then we have the table?
Wait, if we table it, what effect is might have?
So the process is it needs to be approved by our board, and then it needs to be approved by the BOCES board, then it's submitted to New York State for final approval.
Still for next year, correct?
No, it's for this year. We've had issues, it was supposed to be on our board agenda in July and August, but there were issues with the tariffs, and the price of the Chromebooks kept going up and escalating. Because of the fact that we couldn't secure a price until this point, we lost approximately 230 Chromebooks for our students. If we wait any longer, we're going to have to go back out to bid and rebid the prices of the Chromebooks, rebid the prices of the smart boards, and the likelihood of us having devices in our kids' hands this year is slim.
Wow.
Do they use them a lot, the kids?
We don't have a lot of them for them to use, so that's why we're purchasing so many.
So we don't use them right now?
We use the devices that we have in district. Each of our middle schools has 3 carts with devices in it, plus 3 labs, fixed labs. And our high school has 7 mobile carts, as well as 6 fixed labs. They're part of the instruction, they're part of the experience for students. I feel they're essential as we move forward. We were behind in this district when we first came in, Dr. Adams and myself, and our goal was to make sure that we were equitable with our neighbors. Sayville has a one-to-one initiative, so every child has a Chromebook.
I'm hoping that one day we can get
What
to
do
that.
parents think about it? If you don't think parents, what do you think? I'm allowed to ask.
I was hoping that one day that we could get to that point where the kids could get that.
If you look, every classroom is going to Google Classroom.
So
And
we have
kids and
Google
everything like that.
Classroom in every classroom, grades 6
And now
through
they have it,
12.
but they're not gonna be able to use it, that doesn't make any sense.
Hold on.
Sachem has a one-to-one
What is
initiative.
Trying to,
Mark, you have to make a decision on
I
it.
understand. I would, obviously, I would research it. Fine, I'm telling you.
I don't know.
What about listening to what your administrator has said about?
I am, but administration always wants for
What's best for kids?
No, because I don't, the libraries.
I'm going to push back because this is about children. And this is about the experience our children have in preparing them for college and career readiness. It is important and vital that our kids learn with these tools in the classroom. And
What
this
grade
is
are
not
they
about what I want. This is about what our kids need. And in order for our kids to compete for the college seats that they're competing for, in order for them to compete for the jobs when they graduate high school, in order for them to compete in the military when they leave here, it is critical that we give them these skills, K through 12.
It's for K through. Why didn't we have it previous?
I can't speak for prior administrations.
So have we tried to get this done before and it's been rejected?
We have worked over the past 4 years to build up our wireless infrastructure so that we have wireless access points in every classroom and in every space throughout the district. We are on the cutting edge. We spent $1.5 million replacing our network switches in preparation for this. So we have spent over $2 million preparing our buildings and our facilities so that when we got these Chromebooks, there'd be a seamless transition. Students would have no issue getting and accessing the technology and accessing the internet. And that's where we are at this point. So this is the.
Did we try to do it previously?
Is this all of the elementary now?
This is part of our plan.
You don't want to buy $4 million worth of equipment and dump it on our 7 techs to say, get this ready, get it into the hands of students.
And it's not an educated decision. We have spaced out our purchases so that it is not a burden to the district when those devices need to be replaced. This has been a thoughtful plan over the past 4 to 5 years.
Can I just ask Sharon?
So Dean,
This is
there was the technology plan, what's the state?
correct.
There was smart schools money that the state made available to us and to other districts,
Correct.
so that we would move in this direction.
Correct.
Weren't able to move in this direction without the plan, which set in place the Wi-Fi access points, all the work that was done, a lot of which was performed on an overtime basis by our technology department, buildings and grounds for data drops, Wi-Fi placement, all of that. Because you're not going to put out Chromebooks and have kids not be able to log on. The state has the initiative, they roll out that money, we access it, we prepare for it. Now we're finally at the point that we can put the devices in the students' hands. Correct?
Correct.
Is that where we are in the plan?
That's where we are on the plan.
Linda, is the goal to eventually these kids have it so that they're not carrying around 30-pound book bags? Is that the goal eventually?
That's part of it, that's a small part, but it's really the technology that is moving forward for our kids to collaborate across the world. So if you see,
There's 2 conversations going on.
Well, Linda was asking my question, so would you like to finish?
So if you actually looked at the website, you'll see that we had a class visit England via the web this week. It was a technological innovation. The kids were studying something that led to being able to speak with children in England. Every single child had a laptop in front of them, and they could speak individually. That's right on our webpage. That's a small example of one class accessing our carts. Our carts are invaluable. They are.
I don't know if they're listening to you.
I heard you.
Okay.
I want to just ask, so, is it effective?
I think it was a brilliant.
Huge. Down there, Lisa? Nancy?
That's mine.
Monica, sorry.
I think it's necessary, and the quicker we can do this, the better it is for our students.
Okay, so my vote's yes.
Yes.
Yes, it's obvious, yes.
Don't be mad.
I'm not getting it. I'm not abstaining.
I don't want people mad.
So 3 yeses, 1 no.
I said abstain.
Oh, you're abstaining. Okay, I thought you said no originally. Okay, I think we've done that piece, Board of Education committees. Unfortunately, I was not able to attend the committee meeting, I was not feeling well. Any committee meetings? All right, Eileen? All right, Superintendent of Schools?
So, Mr. Flynn, myself, and Mr. Sidman attended the Enhancing School Safety Using a Threat Assessment Model workshop that was last week at Hofstra University. It was put on by the United States Secret Service through the Department of Homeland Security. Honestly, I have to say how proud I am of this district, because the truth of the matter is we could have written this manual. So when we sat, and Don and I, unfortunately had to sit next to me, I made him sit next to me, as we went through that workshop and they kept talking about the things that need to be in place, we have them in place. So that was really exciting. I testified for the community. I'm the educational chair of the Islip Town anti-opioid task force, and I testified as far as what's happening in schools and what we see in the changing landscape of kids' mental health moving toward the utilization of illegal substances. And we are going to actually be the district that puts together the brochure to educate our parents as to what's happening in our schools and in our society across the opioid task force and all the issues that are happening. So it was kind of an exciting night. It was actually shown on News Channel 12 a few weeks ago. They never told us the time and the date, so I couldn't see it. But it reruns every now and then. I just wanted to welcome George Rockland to the district. He is our interim, kind of like a helper in our fine arts of performing music. My goodness, I'm sorry, it's late. Our FAME director has taken ill, and so Mr. Rockland is working with him and our faculty and staff in arts and music to make sure that our programs stay as excellent as they are for our students.
Check out Sycamore.
And I will have him check out Sycamore as well. Mr. Macaluso, our new director of guidance, wanted to let us know that we've had on-site college visits, and the last round of scheduled for our seniors, because they're having to apply if they haven't already, was with Five Towns College, Nassau Community College, Utica College, and Farmingdale State College. The PSAT scores have been released, and our counselors are meeting with their students to share their results and explain how to interpret their scores. We are going to begin our scheduling process pretty quickly. The course guide will be posted to the website soon. Not have all your stuff. The Connect What Cares Coalition, in partnership with our YFS workers and the district's mental health professionals, actually trained the Red Watch Band training, which is to increase awareness of our students and the things that they can do to help decrease the alcohol-related casualties among youth. It was coordinated by Mrs. Santo, Director of PPS, and the mission of the Red Watch Band is to provide students of both college and high school community with the knowledge, awareness, and skills to prevent toxic drinking deaths and to promote a student culture of kindness, responsibility, compassion, and respect. Our winter sports are in full swing. We actually are really excited because our varsity cheerleaders placed first at the UCA Empire National Regionals on December 2nd, and they have an automatic bid to compete in the UCA National High School Cheerleading Championship in Orlando, Florida. Our Central Connecticut High School Wrestling Alumni Night will be on Friday, December 21st, before the varsity meet versus Lindenhurst. And we're really excited actually about the varsity bowling team because they are now in League 2, which has been realigned. We have returning 3 starters who all had 200 plus averages last year. I think 2 without bumpers. I'm not sure how that works. Our Connecticut basketball team defeated Sachem North by a nail-biter, 53-51, in front of a crowd of 500 people at Nassau Veterans Coliseum. So just great things going on. We're mostly through the concert season, but if you have never seen the high school concerts, Thursday night will be our tradition of our Marching Wooden Soldiers, where our kid line works with our band, and they do the traditional Rockettes skit. It's wonderful. On Friday night, we bring our alumni back, and they join in the Hallelujah Chorus, which is just absolutely amazing. So if you've never had an opportunity to see either one of those, put it on your calendar and go take your little kids with you because it is just awe-inspiring to see all that.
I really am excited about this, so I will just give a little history. Me, I'm not going to talk about it, I'm just going to say that we along for years, everyone complained about our kids can't run, our kids can't write. Our kids can't write, and this administration came along, and one of the issues that the board kept saying, kids can't write, what can you do about it? Our kids can't write, we've said this so long, but apparently we've come a long way. Now I'm going to turn over to Dean, and I just say thank you to administration because they're making a big difference here.
Thank you very much. So tomorrow night, as part of One of the things that we've done is each department, K through 12, has a multi-year strategic plan in place, and they are in various phases of implementation for both reading instruction, writing instruction, mathematics instruction, computer science and engineering, as well as STEM and science and social studies in the elementary and middle schools. One of the commitments we had made to our community was to start some parent workshops to help our parents support their students at home with some of the literacy initiatives that we have. So our first branding of our parent university is going to happen tomorrow night here at Central Office. Our director of ELA, Ms. Christina Poppy, as well as our director of instructional support, Karen Moser, will be running a workshop for parents to kind of review what we're doing in the classrooms, give key languages, and then give some strategies for parents at home. This is the first part of our series. We look to continually increase it to hopefully have multiple parent university nights where parents can come in and kind of choose courses that they want to take to support themselves and to support the students. So we're excited about that. To follow up on what Dr. Adams said regarding our guidance director facilitated a workshop for our middle school students with all of our district directors, reviewing some of their opportunities for their high school programs. The first phase of the high school scheduling process. We're really excited about that. The feedback that we received about today's presentation was that it was well received by our middle school students. In addition, one of the things that we heard quite loud from our community was the time that the high school schedules and programs were released. Didn't give parents a lot of time, or students a lot of time to make some of those changes that they needed. So one of the changes that the high school administration has made with Mr. Macaluso is our goal is to increase the scheduling timeline so that parents will have student schedules by late June of this year for the following year. So that gives the parents the entire summer with staff available to be able to work through any challenges that come across for students. Our 2019-2020 course guide is up for our high schools on the web. It's a great document. It shows over 170 elective courses that our students have an opportunity to take. We are in the process of phasing in our next academy, which is our Computer Science and Engineering Academy. We have 2 new courses that we'll be offering, which will be Advanced Placement, Computer Science Principles, as well as Cybersecurity. In addition, we'll be going into our second year of our AP Capstone program. We had a very successful first year with 2 sections. We were shocked to get 2 sections of students to do AP seminar, and the next phase will be an AP research program for them for next year.
Joe,
That's it.
Call back. Another school, they got a order for being AP, right? Did you hear that?
Yes.
Do you think we can eventually catch up?
I'll be extremely competitive, so yes, we will be there very soon.
Yeah, but Comac also has an IB program. We can't really,
It's okay, we'll be there.
to be honest, that's a little bit of an edge.
Okay, if we could beat that edge, you're pretty good at that. I'd be very proud.
Monica? Okay, Board of Education?
No,
I'm sorry, Monica,
I
I'm
just
sorry.
wanted to show off take a quick second and show off some of the work from the high school. They presented each board member with a holiday sentiment, just wishing everyone well. Happy holidays.
It's like the white one. Yeah.
There is a craft sale from many of the high school classes that's later in this week, and this is some of the merchandise they'll be selling that you also received today's news. Happy holidays.
Please extend our thanks.
I will.
Mr. Allen?
So I'm not one to get roped up into Facebook at all if I can help it, but a concern was brought to my attention regarding OBMS and the nurse's office. If everybody remembers, when we were dealing with the issues down at OBMS, we tested every single space in OBMS. We did quality testing. We had 2 locations that came back of concern. One was the nurse's office, nurse's suite, and one was the main office. We reclaimed. The main office came back totally fine. Nurse's office, even though it was still below the outside measurements and everything else. It was not as clean as the air testing should have been, considering the amount of clean. As such, I've been working with contractors. We're going to have additional work going on in that building over December break. We're going to remove the ceiling. We're going to encapsulate the porous materials above it, put a new ceiling in, and if we have the time, we're going to paint it, because the staff in that room has been inconvenienced quite a bit over the past several months. So, I don't know if anybody else has heard that, that buzz and everything else down in WMS, but just so you do hear it, we know what's going on, and we are addressing it, and we've shared that with the staff. I've actually shared that with the CTA, so this is something that was discussed the moment those results came back, but just so that it's out there for everyone to know. And the other piece of it is next Monday, we will be opening the bids for the additional work that was authorized for the new building and equipment down in the office.
Okay, any Board of Education comments?
That we made it through today.
Okay, let's move on to public comment. The same rules apply as I mentioned earlier. Anybody?
And wins.
I've been in this district for 51 years, and I think my memory is still pretty good. I think we always voted upon when we voted a budget, right? No, I'm wrong? Who says I'm wrong? Okay, I accept it. Okay, I thought it was that way. I really totally believe first in teachers, and I really think at the 12th grade level, every teacher should have their doctorate. Yes, when I went to high school, in the 12th grade level, where I went, every teacher had their doctorate. And I believe in good textbooks, although if I go on the internet, I'll probably find some better data. And I believe in technology. The other thing is, no matter what you decide, it's going to have to be approved by Albany, and they're very slow in approving, right, John?
Correct.
Right, it's going to have to be decided by Albany. That goes along. What? Well, I don't want you to separate it. I want you to do it in May with the budget. And you're going to have to sell the budget, like you've done in the past, and you're going to have to sell this bond. No matter what the dollar figures is at the bottom line, you're going to have to sell the bond. Because all you get from the booth is a yes or a no. You're going to have some public sessions in one of the buildings and tell the people what they're getting for their money. And the other thing is, bonds are expensive, but you have to keep up. You have to keep up with the building. If you don't keep up, when the professional engineer comes down here from Albany, he'll tell you what to do, whether you have the money or not. Right, John?
So I think what you're alluding to is the 5-year building condition survey that used to be done. State Ed has actually worked away from that a little bit. Projects go to SED, provided they haven't been done in the last 15 years. And we're not reinventing the wheel on anything. From the state aid side of it, it's approved pretty regularly, without any hiccups that I'm aware of. But I don't have a crystal ball.
No, there's no crystal ball on that. The other thing is, I know that, okay, so for every dollar we spend, we're going to get 67 cents back, right? Okay.
For every dollar that's qualified, yes.
Yeah, that's qualified.
Yes,
I know they sometimes have different givebacks on different items.
There's some criteria, yes.
Yeah, it's not across the board.
Correct.
Okay, the questions that I have.
Sorry.
You can talk.
Let me talk. there's also interest on this bond. And I don't know what the interest rates are running now. On the old bonds, I look back, where the interest rate went from 3.5% to 4.5%. On most of the bonds, the interest ran around 50%. If we borrowed 40,000, we get $20,000 in interest, $20 million in interest, rather. There's a lot of interest on bonds. Do we get any give back from the state on the interest?
That's how we get our losing aid back. It's based on an amortization of the capitalized costs.
And what about the money that we spend? It's like when you get a mortgage, they used to call it points years ago, but I'm out of the old mortgage category.
There's a premium, so the net interest cost would be different than what you're seeing as the state.
But they charge you to write that bond.
Correct.
I don't know what they charge you, you know. From past bonds? You don't have that on your fingertips.
No, I don't.
I would be, I'd like to know. And what's the current rate now on bonds? You know, so there's other little things buried in there, but I know you have to make a decision between wants and needs, and keeping the buildings in good shape, and seeing that our children are prepared to make the next step. And we're gonna have some public meetings on Sunday. That's where it stands. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eddie. Next speaker?
All yours.
I had a question on some of the bond issues that you were going to be backing off. And one of them just came to mind because I am familiar with the maintenance building. So that's something that's relevant to staff rather than students. And it was like, oh, we have John Pearl. Well, John Pearl's a school, and a maintenance building is a maintenance building. Not the same. I would hope that this board will give the same attention to researching libraries as they would a maintenance building. Because right now I know that there's a big garage under the high school. Now I know you're new, so I'll let you know that there was a flood. Yes, it was a crazy flood. Maybe it'll never happen again in our lifetime, but it did.
No, we're getting a shed built, you know.
Everything down there, every piece of equipment was down to let you know what was there. Sand, salt, oil, gasoline, hazardous stuff under a high school. So a maintenance building may seem frivolous on your bond. Mr. Allen would be more familiar. Please take the time on these things that you're looking to maybe disallow and do the due diligence that you say that you would like to do. And don't just say, yeah, we have that. I see that there's a lot of discord, and it is disconcerting as a staff member, not as a taxpayer, because we need you to decide things that are relevant not just to the taxpayers here, but to the people who work for this district. So please take the time to realize that. At the last meeting, not everyone was here, 2 meetings back. There were several union presidents, myself included, that was backing the bond in its entirety. We also spent much time with Mr. Allen to find out what was there. I represent 90% of my members are tax-paying citizens here, and they were in support. We explained what was on the bond, what the cost was, what it wouldn't be. So we also do our due diligence. Don't think that we don't. So just want you to know that, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Doesn't work?
Just talk loud.
Just to set the record straight, because my name was mentioned,
Sorry about that.
I came here because my son was involved in the grievance that's supposed to teacher back and forth. And I just want to make sure that in the future, not only is the financial piece very important, but how the children are affected by moves is extremely important. How the children were affected the first time, and possibly moving forward, how they might be affected with another change. So just please keep keep that in mind when you're making decisions. It's not just about the financial piece. There are children who are involved, and teachers who are bringing shifts out to happen and things like that. I can tell you from experience, and again, I'm not even sure it's the same issue. So on that, I thought it might be the issue because my son was involved in that. It was not handled well the first time. So just keep that in mind when you think about those things. But being as I am here, I actually do have a question because it arose tonight while I was sitting there. The question is actually for you, Mr. Bush. You mentioned about people coming to your office to speak to you. I believe it was about the bond. Would you care to share who that was and what you discussed? I'm just curious.
What is it about the bond?
No?
No.
That's what you were discussing.
No, I said we've changed time to discuss other things. It wasn't about the bond. But I don't think
who that was?
I don't think it's necessary to really share that because it's not pertinent.
But it is pertinent.
Why?
Why?
I have to deal with it.
Because
I just feel like I'm new on the
well, I understand you shouldn't have to deal with it. You shouldn't have people coming to your office at your place of business.
But I've also
I
gotten
agree with you
phone
100%.
calls. I've gotten phone calls in the middle of the day. Can you come down here right away? It's something I'm learning how to deal with, but I'm getting better, Nick, Mr. Farrier, at dealing with it and saying, hey, I can't do this right now.
I agree with you 100%.
So it's getting better now, so it's not happening anymore. So I thank you for your concern, and the reason why I'm saying I'm okay now is because I've handled it, and I said, moving forward, you can't really do this. I'm working and I'm at work. You have to have that respect that I'm doing, and that's, I appreciate what you're saying. That's why I don't want to make it into a confrontation. I would like to avoid.
So you would not like to share who came to you?
No, I don't want to have any more confrontations. I want to move forward. As you can see tonight, as I was talking, I really don't want confrontation. I'm sorry.
I understand that.
So out of respect for what you're saying, I appreciate what you're saying, but I think going forward, I understand what I need to do, so it doesn't happen. Which it shouldn't happen.
It shouldn't happen.
That's what you're saying.
What I'm saying is, realistically, if it's more than one person, it shouldn't happen. It shouldn't matter if they expect you at your office.
Yes.
But it also shouldn't happen if it's more than one person.
That's what I'm saying.
because
I appreciate what you're saying. It's not
It's
supposed
not
to be
supposed to
done.
happen.
I
But it
agree.
shouldn't happen anyway because it's your place of business.
I agree. Thank you. And that's why I just don't want to go
Have a good night.
move forward, because I'm here.
Absolutely. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I just want to mention about the issue that you brought up. If the numbers are correct, I don't know if I quote all was taken on and put back off and whatever you guys are going to do. Okay, but if you're talking about parking spaces in Cherokee, as a taxpayer and a parent, my kids don't even go there, but I know if it was at one of my schools, it seems so minimal. I hate to say $4 million is minimal, but it seems so minimal in a $46 million bond that you're going for.
It's actually 441,000.
Okay. As far as OBMS is concerned, you talk about the air conditioning or taking that off, I'm afraid that's gonna bite us and you know that with the mold issues going on. It just felt, I haven't been to a meeting since the one with the whole huge mold issue and everything like that. I didn't, to be honest. It's really, and I don't speak for everybody here, but I felt like this inside during the whole meeting. It's painful to watch. And I appreciate what everybody's doing as far as keeping a thumb on the pulse. But there's a point where, my opinion only, and I don't speak for everybody, we hired you, John. We hired you to do a job. And I understand we need to keep people accountable for, but it almost felt like it was like a magnifying glass, looking over every single thing. I think there's a point where you gotta come to trust you. I listened to many things you've said. I've been to OBMS PTAs, when you talked about the mold, I've been here many times. I understand that the contractors and everything like that, but why do you trust one contractor you spoke, but you don't trust John?
I talked to 9 and I
I'm
talked to
just saying
John.
the way it felt from sitting
Well,
here.
I told
whether that's
John,
the
and I
point or
never
not,
said I didn't trust John. John gave me some very good
that's
information.
the way I felt. And again, I said that was
It's
my
fine if you felt that
feeling
way.
sitting here.
I didn't say I didn't trust John.
That's the way I felt sitting
I'm sorry
here.
you felt that way.
Was that the administration, I feel we hired you to do a job. I mean, you've been here for how long? You know, and I feel like sometimes we're not trusting what Dean's saying, what Monica's saying. It's almost like, well, you know what? I gotta go talk to other people. I gotta go talk to other people. And again, I understand.
Trust but verify.
I understand that. And I understand holding people accountable, but it gets so, I get like watching a dysfunctional family.
And it is, it's scary, like you're saying, working for the district, it's scary. I have kids in all three levels, elementary, middle school, and high school. I love this district, I do a lot for this district on the outside, maybe I'm not sitting here every time, but it doesn't feel like we're working as a team, you know, it almost feels like everybody's trying to, whatever. And I don't know how to fix that, and I'm not saying that I'm telling you you have to fix it. All I'm saying is it gets very painful sitting here to watch that, like you're saying, do I miss you? Maybe not. You're not going to see me maybe at January 8th. You might see me, January 22nd or after that. But I give you credit for sitting here every month and to sit here and watch over and over. I understand you do it for the district and everything and the kids. But I don't know. I just feel like it's not getting fixed. And it's got to start somewhere to get work done, to get the kids what they need, to get them their Chromebooks, to get them, the bond passed and everything else like that. And my last point is medieval times. Why don't we change that to like say 6th grade? So we don't have to make it that maybe the 5th graders in Cherokee went, but mine at Boston didn't, so now they're going in 6th, it'll be a mess.
Bill doesn't do it either.
If we do it, well that's what I'm saying, if we do it all across the board at 6th grade, then you don't have to do it in 5th, 6th, and 9th.
That conversation actually came up a few years ago. My daughter's never been to medieval times, and neither has my son. And like yet other people have done it. I don't know if they've skipped a year or whatever, but the conversation came up about having it across the district, 1 grade. My 2 children have never been there.
Because many of the schools do it as a 5th grade trip, but my elementary school only did Medford, the
Country fair.
That's right there, country fair.
Oh, yeah. We were trying to give it, but my son went in 6th grade, so it'll be a mess. Just a suggestion.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I just want to say that my previous
80% of what I said.
Yeah.
Because you got a
And
little
the
piggyback.
other part is just, to me, it's not a matter of don't trust this or that or all the experts, but to me, I've been trusted before you to do what I feel you're trying to do. So I just want to say I appreciate the keeping the pulse on it, or however you have described it. Because while everybody is an expert in what they do, that doesn't make, your expertise and expert in financial what's best for the community. So I'm just saying, it's everybody's job together for, I feel, to do exactly what I think we were doing, and is looking more specifically at, what absolutely has to be and what doesn't. Taxes are what they are, all payment. So while we have to move forward, and I feel, so much of the stuff on the bond is wonderful stuff. And I know these folks, so not technology, Chromebooks, I feel like that's a necessity at this point. Even more so, and like I said, well, that's not as long as this is, but even more so than the elementary libraries. Kids don't do work in libraries anymore, they do it on their beds like this. So not to say the libraries are a bad thing. I think the high school and the middle school, absolutely. Maybe the libraries, the elementaries is a place for us to say, update them, absolutely, they're Stone Age. But maybe not to the level of where they're opening millions that it costs. I mean, we're all being told that the libraries are underutilized, district-wise, hugely, because it's at their fingertips. They don't necessarily need to sit in the library, and do this stuff. So, wonderful stuff, but I want to...
Can I answer that something? They've been underused, but that's why I asked for some stuff, so I'm still gonna look into it. Maybe they're gonna be used more. So I'm hoping that it is. I'll make the decision based to make this better. So just don't be nervous. We're gonna do what's right for the district. So if they get used better, but then we do need it, which is what I just wanted to try and find out.
Can I just pause for a second? Because we keep throwing out things that sound like facts. And when we say that libraries are underused, that couldn't be further from the truth. Every single child, K through 5, goes to the library in their school building every single week.
Once a
So-
week.
Once a week.
That's correct. So we have school, but when we say underutilized, people, they sound like that they're against them. And the truth is that every single child in this district, almost 3,000 children use the libraries K-5 every week, at least once. Since the librarians have been here a few weeks ago when we had our bond preparation meeting, I've been getting emails from the librarians to show me what's happening on their off periods, when they don't have a full class sitting there, where they're not working on the curriculum. There is a library curriculum, actually it's K through 12. In the middle school and the high school, it's generally taught via English classes. The English classes come into the library. They actually use the libraries not once a week, where our elementary kids use them once a week, scheduled all the time. There is curriculum K through 12 in the libraries. So we keep saying underutilized. I can't agree with that, because even though it's only once a week, if I have 4 sections of kindergarten, 4 sections of first grade, and 4 sections, if I have 15, if I have 24 sections, that's 24 periods a week that is utilized. The teachers teach 6 periods a day over the course of 5 days, it's 30 periods. That means 6 periods a week. There's no class scheduled out of 30. So when we start saying these as facts, and we've been saying them over and over again as facts, they are not facts. Yes, and Pearl is utilized less. Yes, because there's less sections of kids. So, but there's also less personnel there. So we don't even have a full-time librarian there, because we know that we don't have 30 sections to fill their day. So I truly believe that we need to start using facts and not algorithms, because the truth is, when I get these video clips from our librarians, their lunch periods where there are no kids scheduled, there are kids in there that don't want to be in a classroom if it's raining, don't want to be
I
outside.
didn't hear what you said. What school is that?
Well, I've gotten multiple schools, in fact, all the schools
Even junior highs?
during lunch. No, middle school, elementary schools. During elementary school lunch, I am getting videos from librarians saying, look at what our kids are doing, they're here.
They're allowed to go there now. I was told they weren't. That's why I got this support.
They are allowed to go there.
Because
And I will
told
forward those
during lunch
videos
they
to
go
you.
to lunch.
But from a parental perspective, Linda, is what they're talking about.
Do they go to lunch
How each
or
of the
they-
children get to use their, I have one child, so they have one child in
So they
there.
don't go to
My
lunch.
child uses the library once per week. I think that's what teacher's saying. So you're saying, I'm sorry, you're saying it as globally, and I understand your point. They're saying it from a parental perspective, which is their child uses it once per week.
That's correct.
So, right. So you're saying that that's not facts, so it is facts, it's just
It
your
is,
facts
from what I
are
asked.
administration, her facts are parental.
They're no different. So yes, her
No,
child
there
goes
is,
to
there's a
school.
lot different. Her child is gonna use the
So
school
if-
once per week. You globally have 6,000 kids, they're gonna use it more than once per week.
That's correct. So there's no, so the parents saying that it's
Semantics.
underused, I disagree 100% vehemently, because we have to look at all the sections. So yes, that one
You have to
section.
look at all the sections, but the parents will have to look for their ones,
But,
their kid.
underutilized does not mean that only that child went to
So
school
the word,
once.
you don't like the word underutilized, you don't like that
Correct.
word. Okay.
Correct,
But
because
that's semantics,
every
that's the
single
word.
child is using that library, elementary-wise, every
But you
single
understand what I'm
week.
trying to say? They're saying it, you see it from the whole perspective. They're seeing it that their kid uses the library once per week. That's it. Once per week. If the librarian's there, sometimes they're pulled out to do sub work too. So sometimes they don't get to use it once per week.
I didn't know they could use it.
They're seeing
They,
it a little different.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop there, because even if the librarian is pulled out.
I'm not against the libraries. Let me just put that out there.
I'm just gonna ask you to let me finish the thought, okay? You can, I don't interrupt you, so please just let me finish the thought.
Go ahead, Linda.
Okay. Even if the librarian was pulled out to cover a class, it is not a threat for our teachers, for our kids to go to the library. So our teachers will still go and use the library with the kids, even if the librarian is not there. So we're having a lot of misinformation. Yes, if Deirdre has a kindergartner, her child goes to the library once a week, but there are 24 sections of classes in that building. So to say it's underutilized because her child only gets to go once a week is a misnomer. It's misinformation. And it may not be happening in every elementary school that kids are allowed to go to the library during their lunch period, but it's certainly happening in some at this point.
What schools, just so I...
I'll forward you the videos. Slocum is definitely one of them.
So what happens to the kids that have to go to lunch, so we let them, am I allowed to ask you now?
Sure. So lunch is split into 25 minutes and 25 minutes. So
They have 50 minutes for lunch?
they have 50 minutes for lunch and recess together. So for that first 25 minutes, certain grade levels eat first and then go to recess, and the other grade level that shares that 50-minute period will go to recess first and then go and eat. So there are days when the kids don't want to go to recess, they don't want to go outside, they can go to the library in certain buildings, not all of them, because some of them don't have
So
libraries.
25 kids say, I'd rather go to the library than go to recess?
Not a whole class, but so let's use Sycamore where they have 4 sections of grade level, let's say. So if I have 4 sections of grade level, I have about 100 kids in lunch. And the other 100 kids, like let's say the 4th graders are at lunch, the 5th graders are at recess, they flip-flop. If they don't want to go outside and they have the opportunity to go to the library, they can go to the library or they can go outside. And that doesn't happen in every building, but I can get you the buildings that it happens in. And usually those are the
That's
buildings
good, that's great.
that have full-time librarians.
Well, Sycamore, I already know has,
That's so great.
has,
The kids
no,
can't have a gosh darn cupcake because they can't.
No, if they
and
choose
now they
to
don't
go.
go out to recess because they don't.
no, if they choose to go, I'm saying it's good. At Sycamore, there is 1 day a week that the librarian's off, which gives us 8 extra periods, and 2 periods a day she is empty the library. So we do have 16 extra periods a week that we can use that library.
Absolutely.
Which is a
It's a great thing.
good thing, as long as we're not taking away from what Deidre just said too. So there's a fine line between everything.
Increase the recess.
There is a fine line, that's all I'm trying to say.
Well, because different kids want different things. So if I'm a child who wants to go to play with the Legos in the library, and I don't want to go outside today, they're allowed to do that.
We're gonna do that for that? Is there, do we have to get supervision for that?
Because that's a curriculum-based thing.
We seem like we solve one problem and then we wreck it with the other. I mean, we just went through this whole thing of getting them some more recess time.
That's correct.
That's awesome.
It was actually
Now
more
they can
lunchtime
just-
more than more recess time, it was both. But if a child chooses to go and do makerspace stuff in a library versus going outside, the child shouldn't have that choice. I disagree. I disagree.
I think the child should have that choice, if they want to, I don't disagree with that.
But I just,
I don't know. That's-
every child in this district, elementary wise, which is about 2,500 students, uses our library every single week. So that's the fact.
Now I'm gonna say this, I may have said that wrong, but I was trying to say, kids, grown-ups, young adults don't use libraries like they used to.
That's
It's in their
all
lap.
technology.
It's in their lap, they're sitting on their bed to do their work, their homework, their research. So, all the things that you're saying are wonderful about the library. I don't oppose kids going to the library. But maybe at the lower level, it doesn't have to be, like, I think was explaining how that's how the college libraries are, and that's how, the office space is now. But at the elementary level, I just don't think it needs to be that futuristic, advanced, whatever you want to call it. I think it could be beautifully upgraded, but not for the tune of however many million. I just don't think it's so necessary at that level to have that super advanced space as it would be when I was thinking at the middle school level and the high school, because they are closer to high school and college and
Good, so I'm gonna educate you a little bit more. If you renovate and don't go to the studs, you don't get stadium. So we spoke a few weeks ago about saying, you know what, let's just move some things around and make it pretty and paint and no stadium. If you want to get the stadium, you have to actually completely renovate the room. So when we say just pretty it up maybe a little bit, the other thing is the learning to love reading occurs in elementary school. So we take babies who are singing the alphabet when they walk in at 4. By the time they leave in 5th grade, they are now reading to learn. We go from alphabet recognition to reading to learn in that time. If we lose their ability to love the idea of reading, we're turning that student off and opening up their horizons forever. Do I agree with you that libraries need to change, that people aren't there to get books anymore? You betcha. Go over there and see how many cars are out there on any given morning, any given afternoon, any given evening. They've changed and rebranded what that building is used for. So they're no longer repositories. You know, if you go back 3,000 years, the library was the only place that knowledge was housed. Knowledge is housed here now. It's our job as educators to no longer house books in libraries as much as to house how to use that information, how to love reading, how to have choices of books that are at their appropriate reading level. That's what elementary library is about. And there is curriculum that we keep forgetting about that actually is being taught in K-12 in our libraries. I agree with you that middle schools and high schools should be more toward the college end of things, but the love of reading and the love of the use of the information is what we want to do in those libraries. We're no longer going to store 7,000 volumes in a library because you can store 7,000 volumes on here. But utilizing that library differently is what the purpose of the change is. And in order to get the state aid, you've got to go to the studs. You've got to really read your building.
That's true. I know you just said with the studs. I know that the cost per library. Could we remove the studs and still lower the cost?
That we would have to talk to, our architect about what process that he costed out.
So we could actually lower the cost, remove the studs and get the state aid.
We would have to talk to Mr. Whittle because
Mr. Whittle.
he costed it out.
The question is, you can answer.
Yeah, but you can't do like a surface renovation. It has to
No,
be a
that's
deep
right.
renovation to get those
It's a great question. And I agree with getting the state aid, but maybe not, maybe doing it just a kind of just.
No, I hear you.
Talking out loud. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I did.
All right.
Yeah, myself, I'll give you a couple extra zeros.
On a bunch of different subject matters. The library thing, I have a 10-year-old boy who have to beg and plead to get him into the library. 15-year-old daughter who, she's in the AP counseling program and she loves the library. That's actually one of her things is, hey, can I ride my bike to the library? So anything to make the school libraries more like this library.
How old is your daughter?
10, 12, 15. The 15-year-old is the one that's super into books. Well, I mean, this is the library of choice. This is the library of Saturday. This is the library. I mean, she actually, can I run to the library? Me and Megan go.
The 15-year-old.
15. But once again,
Was she like that when she was younger?
Oh, she's been like that forever. She's crazy like that.
I love her.
But I mean, listen. Once again, on the flip side, I have the 10-year-old. The 10-year-old is arrested, and he happens to wrestle on Coach Brown. So we put my little 2 cents in that. He happens to wrestle under the most recent kid wrestling coach, an excellent coach. I'm sure there's plenty other things that go along with it, but as far as a wrestling coach, he's a stand-up guy does an excellent job with all the children he deals with, and I think he would be doing disjustice to all of the children on that team to not allow him to continue that program, but that's a decision you guys can have to make. One thing that I am curious about, and I haven't heard anything, and I don't know enough of these to really know whether or not this has been discussed, and maybe this goes back to working in a security area of the world, vaping. Is there any directive, are we trying to figure out a way to stop this? Because I have my 15-year-old AP capstone, very, very smart, good, studious, blah, 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 everything everybody wants to do vape, who came home that got peer pressured to smoke pot via vape in the high school bathroom with 4 people. Come on, it's not that big of a deal, just try it. And I understand, we all went through peer pressure, we all did all these things. There's got to be a way that we can try to limit the amount of vaping. Make it so it's such a ridiculous punishment. You can now take anything and put it inside a vape pen. Maybe it's a Juul and it's nicotine and yes, smoking, blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's pot. Maybe it's the next version of heroin. Maybe it's
coffee now.
Whatever, I mean, from what I understand, we've now tried some new things. We're mixing stuff up in our bedrooms where, we're starting to put stuff in the vape pen. We're now smoking these things. It's a new version of the same problem. But you know what, if it's not such a scary thing, when I was in school, if you got caught smoking in the bathroom, it was an immediate out of school suspension. It was scary enough that you didn't really want to try it. Maybe you smoked in the arcade, maybe you smoked in the parking lot with some. wherever I graduated Connecticut.
And we got it.
I heard that. I heard the arcade.
My father was the first graduating class of Connecticut, so the family has been around forever. This is a problem that I think we all realize it exists. It's all the teenagers are doing it. It seems to be the latest, greatest, coolest thing. And besides the health problems, we're going to wind up with that terrible, terrible situation that's going to occur on school property in a bathroom where the wrong thing got put inside a vape pen and the wrong child had the wrong reaction, and this conversation is much worse. And I think before that happens, someone needs to figure out a way to start either putting such a scary punishment in place for being caught with a vape pen inside one of the schools, or, you know, whatever, or make the example of that first kid, or whatever the case may be, that no kid wants to try it, or they hesitate from trying it, or whatever the case may be. And you're welcome to.
I'm gonna review one.
Can I give a little bit of information?
Sure.
So we arrested 2 children today.
Okay, not mine, right?
No.
Good.
Wait, what's your last name?
I haven't been home yet, I mean.
Two children were arrested today for vaping THC. That has happened multiple times. So we are not only taking that it is against the law to vape at Juul, all that kind of good stuff, and high school age. But when you bring in illegal substance into our campus, we take it seriously. So we did have police on campus today, arrested 2 of our students. That's the first thing. We automatically get a 3-day out-of-school suspension for vaping, being caught. Second thing. Third thing, we're looking into the technology. There's brand new technology that was just updated in August that actually instantaneously measures particles in the air. And you can tell if someone is vaping or juuling in bathrooms.
That's neat, so that's neat. So,
Yeah.
So is there how does that work?
So it samples the air constantly, and if the air sample changes, they know instantaneously.
But how, is it like an alarm goes off or something?
So the alarm actually goes off to the different offices, so that the offices would know. So that's something we're gonna look to potentially put into the budget. And
So what's stop me from vaping, and then I'm running out of it? You're not gonna catch me.
oh yeah, it's
Because then we have cameras. There's cameras all over.
We also have adult monitors at all the bathrooms, which hence why we caught the person, the 2 folks today. But we will be looking into budgeting and putting that in the middle school and the high school, because the middle school is actually pushed down into the middle school. Fourth thing, there's legislation in front of the state legislature to ban all candy-flavored substances that go into the vapes and the Juuls. Because they believe, rightly so, that they're targeting young people to, the cotton candy flavor and all those kind of cherry flavors, and they're trying to ban that in New York State. So if you can help the legislation, and,
Just for children, though, they're trying to,
I think it's banned. Banned.
Oh, yeah? I don't know if that's.
I mean, listen, going back 20-something years, you lit a cigarette up, you knew you were doing something wrong. All the signs were there. Vape, oh, it's like a candy.
Right.
There's it's strawberry flavor. Oh, how bad could it? And I can see, the unfortunate direction, exactly what you're saying, is it's getting marketed towards the children. And I mean, I hear from my middle school daughter, who's, not necessarily as well known, or it seems to be as common as it is in high school, but she knows of kids that are vaping. She knows that, some of her friends vape, some of her, the girls she knows. So it's just one of those things that, I don't know, it scares the hell out of me. As a parent, hearing your kids for the first time, I tried pot. And just the fact that I was able to get that conversation out of the kid when she came home and she just seemed bored. What's the matter? And eventually I was going to be a loser if I didn't. Well,
The THC in those is much stronger than the actual.
oh yeah, no, she came home from school and it was, her lunch hour, I'm going to say, is like 10 o'clock in the morning, and it was around that time frame. And when she got home from school at 3:30, she was still visibly bored. Someone that's smart and on it all the time, you kind of figure out that there's something a little askew. But it's just, it's one of those, I know that it's been around since all of us were in school.
Good for you that she came to you.
I mean,
Must be something good going on there, man.
listen, that is the beneficial part, is the fact that we were able to squash it and take the phone away from her from going up, that she felt that it was a bad enough repercussion, she didn't want to try it again, or she's getting better at hiding it. You don't know the answers, but, you know, you do the best you
They
can.
sell those marijuana kits at the drugstore. I always have one in my house just to scare.
Oh, yeah, no, we
My
brought
kids
it,
are 22, 20, and 18.
we brought it there, we made it happen. And one last thing on the Chromebook thing, I understand that, you know, there's I'm trying to think of the most politically correct way of saying this. I think Bohemia, Ronkonkoma, Oakdale, Sable, the surrounding areas that you guys named when it came to the Chromebooks, I think there's a reason that we all gravitated to those areas. I think the reason we gravitated to it is because the general people that are in the area, the quality of the school district that we have. And I think if we start bringing things like better technology, you're going to have better people gravitate towards those areas. So I don't think putting a roadblock in front of any of this technology, slowing it down, or not appreciating where the world is going. I think it's a poor idea to slow these things down, because a year is going to make it so the Chromebook isn't the right thing to get anymore, because now they came out with a Samsung something or this or some other technology, and now we're going to get the stuff that everybody else is graduating out. So I don't think sitting on your hands when it comes to things like this is the best decision.
I agree, thank you.
Thank you.
So, somebody had mentioned in the audience, and it sort of brought me back to why some of the things were placed on this bond. One of your workers, employees, I'm sorry, remind me also why certain things were put on this bond. So, John, I know that everything was put on this bond with thought and care. It wasn't frivolous items that were just thrown on their head, each a monetary amount and just throw in the sink. Everything was thoughtfully, purposely put on here. So she reminded me of why that maintenance building was put on there. Yeah, that's why the committee, well, unanimously, that was a good idea. I shouldn't say unanimously, because I'm already in trouble by saying that. But let's say 3/4 of the committee thought that that was a great idea to put it on there. So, you know what, the Cherokee parking lot, I think another parent had brought that up. I mean, it just again reminded me that this committee took 2 years to argue back and forth what was important to put on here, what was good for every school in our district, for our community and everything else like that. You know, to actually even consider going halfway on the library, I mean, it's like you're going to do your kitchen, you're going to do it halfway, you're going to do it all the way, but then you want to enjoy it for the next 20 years. Because this is what we're talking about. We're talking about enjoying this library for the next 20 and 30 years. I knew if I did my kitchen halfway and expecting I'm going to love it 20 and 30 years from now, it's not going to happen, because it's not exactly the way I want it to be. So when I'm getting, I get a little frustrated or I get a little bit anxious, because I just reminded, again, just in this last couple of minutes, why these things were put on the bond. So, I don't know. I just, going back to respecting what the committee said, respecting that 5 unions came together and supported this in its entirety, for us to go rip it apart and say that we don't respect the units, the 5 units, the committee and everything else like that, I don't know, it just reminded me that maybe this is not a good idea to rip apart.
We ripped it apart.
By taking things off, we're taking things off the bond.
So the agreement,
I just want to say that public participation is still important.
You're the last
It's not a matter of respect, not really. It's not a matter of respect at all. It's a matter of, yes, they did their work, they obviously put in a ton of time. I was down in and I was taking anything away from that. Sure, I would love to have my whole kitchen done, my whole house done, all that, all at the same time and enjoy it. But you can't just always have the whole thing. But, bonds come together, there's always a lot of work there. But sometimes stuff comes out of it. To me, it shouldn't have anything to do with respect or tearing anybody.
That's why they had A, B, and C.
respect everything. Right, John?
But there are things that come out of bonds. Lee, the last one, Lee, when you pull the entrance out of the last one, stuff is written in and then it's taken out.
it happens, so I don't get, you took it out. We were right there, the road was in, and you felt better of it, you voted, you didn't want it in.
The road?
Yeah.
Oh, the $1 million road?
Yeah, the road to nowhere.
The road to nowhere.
Right, so, but I'm just saying, it's not like it doesn't happen that committees come together to do this, but still in the end, it's the community's dollar, and I appreciate you guys being conscious of that. And if it's not, you just can't have everything all the time, all at once. Maybe some things have to be done that way. Maybe some things have to be done half the kitchen now and on the next one or something. So I'm just saying, it's not for me personally, and I don't think anybody who's speaking, it's not a respect thing. It's totally respect all the majority do. And you for doing, sitting up there where I wouldn't be able to. So I just wanted to say that it's not a respect thing. It's just a responsibility to the community, not just the committee that put it together.
I agree. I think Mila didn't mean it like that either. I don't think you meant disrespect. I don't think you meant that either. Disrespect. I would never disrespect you.
I respect everyone's opinion, I never said.
It's not disrespecting.
All right, so if there's anybody else, I need a motion, a second to exit public
I will
session.
gladly motion.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Have a happy holiday, everyone.